One of my favorite.
I have 10.
Nice. It's just an armored bear is just awesome. Hi everybody. It's Dungeons and Dragons.
Are we live?
Hello.
It's very informal, no camera this time. We're chilling out, getting in the groove of it. I walked away. There's our city. It's representative. It's actually not to scale because, as it turns out, when you're trying to calculate the population of like 1 million people, you need a lot more housing. We're not gonna worry about that.
Yeah, it would take you a good long time to get there.
Yeah. If you guys have ever seen the map of like Waterdeep or any of the major cities in Dungeons and Dragons, they're crazy big. But I made a representative map. So that's what you guys are looking at right now. Most of the districts. So in general, you guys are in the top left area, but further off the map because you guys are up in the farms.
Okay, got it.
I actually also revised the map, and I forgot that I had, and so this is not the current version. But whatever, we're here now. I'm the DM, Boom, and to my right...
I am Stipenda.
Stipenda.
From Stipenda Art, or Maya. Or Torin.
Torin.
Dragonborn
There you go.
sorcerer. There we go. I got there eventually.
We're all getting there,
Hello.
And then...
It's Sarada. I'm playing Viksha, the Tabaxi Bard. The Boom's homebrew Kalia race. Which
yes,
is,
the culture is homebrewed, but the race is Tabaxi.
Yeah.
But if you hear us say Kalia, that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
But currently she's an not an Apatosaurus,
an Allosaurus.
An Allosaurus.
Yeah, both you and Pahokee.
Yeah.
Which leads us to...
Pahokee, which is me, and I'm here, and I'm an Allosaurus, and I'm looking upon Cake City.
Cake City?
As Pahokee described.
Oh, Pahokee described it as
Oh,
Cake City. Oh, okay.
I see.
You said that earlier, and I was like,
Because
it's
it's got
Cake
3
City.
tiers.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
1, 2, 3. It's actually 4 tiers technically, but I don't know if you want to count the peak as a tier or if you want to not
The
count
icing
the
can be a
base.
tier.
Yeah,
It's a
right.
tier. It's a cake.
It's okay.
a
I
cake.
described it
It's got
as
levels.
3 tiers, but I'll re-describe it here in a second because I have a different description of it now. Because I found my description of it now, so I'm happy about that. Hooray! So, basically, we're going to go ahead and just jump right in. It's effectively the aftermath of an undead zombie/ghoul attack upon a small farmstead out just on the outskirts of the greater Dragon's Meat region. You guys basically were coming down to go meet the Scholarly Society of Wondrous Procurement to help you with your strange Echo Stone problem. But along the way, you were interrupted on your journey by, first off, bandits, and then, typical bandits, but now, sort of some undead attacks. So you guys are now standing in the aftermath of that battle. Off in the far, you spot Ka with Digron and Kashro, the 2 orcs that were helping you out. They're assisting Kargoth getting up from his ghoul bite, and you guys can spot just from where you're standing, about maybe 25-ish feet away. The bite on his shoulder is graying, and it's starting to kind of necrotize a little bit. But you also note that while he's kind of being led up, he's clutching something in his fist, and he's kind of smiling with a big toothy grin. And kind of just sort of chatting up with the orcs. The orcs don't seem super impressed. And Kaal looks a little bit worried, mostly because they're kind of standing behind him and they kind of see his shoulder wound.
And this was the dwarf Durkov?
Yeah. Who basically, so the part of the Chuckle Fucks that kind of did nothing during the fight.
Yeah, the Chuckle Fuck
Squad.
Well, in all fairness, a bunch of people just burst into dinosaurs. So.
Yeah, that's true. But before that, they were still doing nothing.
They tried.
Also, hi, Adam.
Oh,
yeah, sorry, I forgot to turn on the chat. God damn it, how do I do that? There we go.
Yay!
Hi.
Hello, Adam.
Adam. I know that guy.
You do know that, right?
Alright.
Yes.
So, sorry, let me pull up the campaign thing really quick. I actually...
Do you still want this? It's very cold.
Oh, that's a new cup.
Oh.
Yeah, I finished it, and I decided to pour a second cup of coffee. Probably not a good idea, but here we are.
Oh,
This
actually,
is the
while
life
you're
I
talking
live
about that,
now.
I need to check on
I
my
already
tea.
had 2, and then I had a nap after that. So.
I actually find that my best days... Yeah, Adam! I find that my best days are I start with a cup of coffee, take a quick 20-minute nap, and then the rest of the day is great.
Well, I got up at 7:30 to do coffee with Mom this morning.
Oh, that's right. That's nice.
And I didn't fall asleep until like 1 or something last night, so after that my body was like, nope, we're going back to sleep. Wow, I need to stop pre-rolling dice.
So a few of us are getting up to gather some drinks and some snackies. Once they get back, I'll explain the situation. But basically, in the road, 2 large Allosauruses are tearing at the rancid flesh of a massive...
We're not tearing at it, we're just dancing on it.
Dancing on the flesh of
We were,
the rancid flesh of a large zombie ogre that has been just torn apart in front of them. At this point, the battle seems over, although you guys can hear in the distance kind of the worried neighing and discomfort of several horses like trotting about. The stable hands from inside the stable house have kind of come out and have begun to kind of like sort of swarm around trying to catch the horses. They seem to be struggling a little bit, but it's more seemingly that it's the chaos of the situation and less that they cannot handle the horses themselves.
I see. Pahuki is probably gonna try to help with the horses, but not gonna transform with this.
Wait, you're gonna stay as an Allosaurus?
I'm gonna stay as an Allosaurus for a few minutes.
Okay.
I've never immediately turned back. You know this.
Yes, I do know this.
I'm gonna go try and assist with the horses as an Allosaurus. Sorry.
All right. You I'm gonna have you make a handle animal check
Heck yeah.
with disadvantage because you are a giant Allosaurus.
Uh-huh.
And you are towering over several horses.
Okay.
3 of which have just whizzed by you in fear.
Telling you how to make a handle animal check.
Well, first off, let me hand you your dice. Oh, wait, you already have your dice, but
Those are my dice.
yeah.
Oh, you took my other dice.
You gave me those because I was rolling really poorly with
Oh
the
yeah,
other one.
that's right. It was cursed.
It was cursed.
Cursed
Go.
die.
Make a handle animal check.
Okay.
So far, none of my dice seem
12.
cursed. I just have
With
ones that are
disadvantage.
temperamental.
Yeah, so roll a second one.
That was so I rolled a 12.
Yep, so she got 12.
And animal handling is what is that? 16.
16?
Yeah.
Alright, strangely enough, that's kind of enough.
I'm also proficient at it.
The Torin and Vishka, you are also still in dinosaur form. You note that as the horses kind of like dart around, Pahokisaur kind of like truts up and then kind of makes opens their maw and instead of like roaring, makes a gentle like guttural, throaty, chittering noise. The horses kind of like sort of leap up for a second, like surprised, but then kind of turn around and then sort of like calm down as they realize that somehow the Allosaurus has communicated its intent to not consume them.
Come to me, horses!
Beaksha's gonna go step out of the puddle of troll goo and like kick off as much of it as she can before turning back into herself.
Okay. You try to clean yourself. Unfortunately, the rotting viscera is just kind of caked onto your bottom legs.
That was in your mouth.
And all along your mouth. You can taste its rancid flesh. It is. What's disturbing is that it's not as rotten as you thought it would taste. That's your weird takeaway. It tastes almost like it's a fresher meat, but with a layer of rancidness on the tip of the skin. So.
Only mild putrefaction.
yeah, just a mild one.
Emmy, no.
You end up thinking that you're
Sorry. Dog
trying to go into the room.
Dog doing dog.
Dog being naughty.
You think you're as clean as you can be, considering that your instinct is to lick your teeth clean, which you probably don't want to do because it would just further the taste into your throat.
Yeah.
So you end up just sort of transforming back, and as you do so, some of the viscera sort of remains, but most of it is. I don't know how transformation with gore works. I'm gonna say the taste of it is still there, but and there is a kind of thin lining around your mouth that you can kind of wipe it off. You kind of just start to clean yourself in an embarrassingly cat-like manner. So you're kind of just licking your fur and rubbing it on your face.
Rarg!
Pahoki, you see that several stable hands they saw what happened, but they're still intimidated by your form.
Cool.
But they sort of gather the 3 horses that you've kind of corralled and sort of bring them back. Now
I'm just gonna kind of call out, don't worry, the dinosaur's with us.
Some of the stable hands, like I said, like they sort of nervously nod, but kind of come out of the building. You spot about 4 or 5 people, about 5 people. There it is. Sort of come out there. They're all sort of dressed the same way, sort of overalls, like covered in dirt, kind of like soft linen shirts, so like a little bit nicer attire, but not like they still don't look brilliantly dressed. You note that though for how dirty they are, they don't smell bad.
Yeah,
and you also note that like the farmstead that you're in is actually rather clean.
Yeah.
It's a very nice little area. One of the individuals, who seems to be kind of a senior member, sort of steps up and says, "Thank you so much for your timely rescue. Have you seen Lady Darcy out then?"
Lady Darcy?
"Yes, she's the lady of the ranch. Surely you have spotted her, as she had run off with some of the stable hands to protect the horses, and during the attack, he kind of starts to note the blank looks on your faces and gets a little bit nervous.
We just got here
dear.
and just saw the guys on the roof and you people freaking out inside and thought, bad situation. As far as I know, we haven't run into anybody.
Yeah.
Lord!
That means Darcy's still out there, and just as the words escape his mouth, you hear sort of like a sort of high-pitched scream coming from one of the barns off on the further side of the little the farm area.
Well, that's probably bad.
Yeah. Several of the stable hands kind of straighten up and they kind of look nervously, exchanging kind of lost looks among each other, and then finally
Is this a human
looking at
scream
you.
or a horse scream?
It sounds like a small humanoid scream. It's a halfling scream.
Okay.
You guys have been around halflings enough to kind of know that it's a halfling scream. The senior member goes, "Lady Darcy's in trouble. She's probably at the old the barn, the red barn."
Can I have okay, so I'm gonna ask Emil to fly over towards the scream and see if he can see what's going on over there before we all just go running in.
Okay. Smart. Emil kind of nods and kind of takes flight, sort of glides across. It's barely 70 feet or so away. You can spot what they call the red barn. It is a large red barn, but it's the front door is sealed. Emil kind of glides across and have Emil make a perception check.
Perception check.
Yeah.
Anyway, to his stats. Okay. 14?
14? Alright. Alright, so Emil, as Emil glides across, you have a telepathic link, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to make sure. I
Yeah,
felt
no,
like I've been reading Find Familiar wrong.
He can convey ideas to me. It might not be necessarily direct communication, but he can convey stuff to me, yes.
Emil confirms the location of the barn, about 70, maybe 80 feet away from where you guys are. It is within view, but there's sort of a small stone fence that kind of has a little paddock area where, it seems to be designed to separate the horses back and forth and also kind of help train them.
Well, I don't really care about the bard.
Yeah.
Does he see anything?
He doesn't spot anything right away as he's gliding across, but he does note that there seems to be some figures running away from the barn off on the far end. So on the opposite side of the barn, he spots a figure sort of dashing through the brushes, headed further deep into the foothills. But the screaming is coming from inside of the barn itself. Emil also conveys that there's some other voices in there as well. There seems to be some sort of panic and the sound of a horse sort of stomping about.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'd say probably take off towards the barn, but also can I ask him to see if he can try and follow whoever's going off?
Yeah. So the thicket is a little bit thicker. He kind of just mentions that, but he thinks he can keep up with the person. So he dives down and then starts to you get the sense that he's hunting.
Yeah.
So we'll have him make a survival check to keep the trail.
Survival check? What the hell? What even modifier is that?
That's a wisdom modifier.
Okay, well at least it's not negative.
I need to stop eating this when it's
Yeah, I shouldn't have
wilted
rolled
on.
before the game because I rolled 4 natural 20s.
You burned all your 20s.
Apparently. That's an 11.
An 11? Okay.
Unless he's proficient. I don't.
Yeah,
does
I
he
don't
have
think
a proficiency.
the weird part is
modifier?
like the animals I feel like should, but they kind of don't, kind of to balance it out a little bit.
Well, he
Because
has
they're
plus
just
1 to
because
wisdom, so he's
they're face
11.
spirits in an animal body.
Yeah. So they're kind of like they're sort of like you get the sense that the instincts of Emil try to take over, but Emil's kind of lived a weird sort of magical comfort life and hasn't needed to hunt or track as much as a real animal would have.
Oh my spoiled.
Yeah. So you sense that Emil glides probably another like 40 feet past the barn, but unfortunately seems to have lost the trail.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He lands and perches on a nearby branch and kind of looks around and conveys to you that the person who escaped seems to have been moving clumsily, but the thicket is so it's such a like dense thicket that it's hard for like him, even with his like bird eyes, to like keep track of them.
Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna kind of ask him to stay over there and keep watch. Are we going to the barn?
Yeah.
Pokey runs towards the barn as an Allosaurus.
Oh right, yeah.
Thump, thump. I mean, I
I'll
could
follow
also
the
be riding
dinosaur.
this horse since I fit as an Allosaurus.
You can't ride the horse.
Oh, but
You're too heavy.
I can though. See,
You're too big. You're too big.
but it fits.
Before Pahokee takes off, V's gonna try and climb on her back.
Do it.
All right, yeah.
So V's just gonna just kind of
climb
ride
on.
Pahokee.
I'll
As I
say
rush
that
on
because
by.
Pokey doesn't have any. Make a handle animal check.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do that for Pahokee anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What is that? That's, you said
It's gonna be
whiz-
like I think it's a wisdom check. Yeah.
There's a winch from fuck.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll just get it.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Animal handling. Okay. 18.
Okay. You're familiar with dinosaurs. You've encountered them a lot in the Isles, in the continent of Atura. And so even without the proper riding gear, you've seen saurians mount dinosaurs. And you're a better climber than most saurians you know.
Yeah.
And so you're able to kind of like, without hurting the Allosaurus, you're able to hop onto its knee joint and then use it to push yourself up and kind of flump onto the back of it. It's not the most elegant looking ride, but it's certainly like you're kind of on there as Pahokee sort of charges forward.
Shoulder
Pahokie's
cat.
speed is a little bit higher than yours, so
Yeah.
you guys are
Tum,
running
tum, tum,
towards
tum,
the building.
I didn't
Basically,
say I was trying to keep up with the
Yeah,
dinosaur.
yeah.
I said I was following the dinosaur.
about, you know,
Smart.
it only takes you guys about maybe 10-12 seconds to get to the front of the barn. And
Yeah,
sure
my
enough,
speed
you
is
hear
60
a
feet
great
right now. Holy
60
crap.
feet. So you get there in like 6 seconds.
Just take a couple steps.
Yeah. Conk, conk. Now, are there any windows on this barn?
There are some high windows, and that's kind of where the sound is emanating from.
Okay.
You hear there's a bit of a struggle, and now like you hear the sound of like chains, a horse sort of going a little bit wild, and then several voices, about 3 voices or so, kind of like panicked and sort of shuffling about. At some point, like you hear a sort of a hush, but the horse is still like there's a horse in there that's still like going a little bit wild.
Okay. Can I, from the top of Pahokee, climb up to that window?
How tall is?
An Allosaurus.
I'm gonna
It
say.
doesn't say.
Yeah, I'm gonna say for the sake of fun, let's have you make a strength check.
Okay,
to,
I was gonna be like, let me see.
or a dexterity check to, an acrobatics check to leap off of Pahokee and then scuttle onto the top of the where the open window is to the barn.
Okay, so I was like, okay, how tall is an?
So, side note, while they actually run to the front of the barn, I'm gonna make my way around and actually head to where Emil saw the person.
Oh,
disappear.
okay.
I'm
Seeing
not like
the
going
Allosaurus.
into the trees or anything,
Yeah.
but I want to kind of go that way and see if I can find any signs of what might have ran off or if they're injured or something.
All right. So, you noting that the Allosaurus and
Is gonna get there faster
and
than me. Yeah.
Misha are gonna probably arrive faster. You decide to kind of like take a side route and just spot if you can see the shadowy figure that sort of darted away. It'll take you like another round to get to the other
Yeah,
side of
okay.
it. But
I can
I'm
find
assuming
out.
that you're running.
The internet tells me how long an Allosaurus is.
Make an acrobatics check.
Okay.
I'll see if you can make it to the top in
Sure
one
it's
round.
Big enough.
Yeah.
Jump off my head.
Yeah, that's why I was gonna just climb up on the head and just.
Woo! You're light enough.
Right. Okay, that's you just said just strength check.
Let's have you make an acrobatics check.
Oh,
actually.
acrobatics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's have you make acrobatics.
Yeah, come here, you. 17.
Okay, I'm gonna say that's good enough. All right, so you kind of like see an opportunity as like Pahokee is sort of like nearing the barn, and you kind of get yourself up, sort of in a small like prowl position. You leap towards one of the open windows and catch your claws like right at like into the open window and sort of lift yourself up, and you're kind of like on the overhang.
Okay, yeah, because I just want to like look in the window.
Yeah.
I don't want to like just.
Oh, you don't want to get in there. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to like get up there and like so I can be like kind of like looking in.
Okay.
Because
so
there's not
basically with your climb speed, you're able to kind of like peek in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that's kind of that'll probably be like your round. Nita. You're in front of the barn door right now. Viksha has just leapt off of you, and you can see them dangling on the window, trying to get a good peek in.
All right, can I sniff at the doors and maybe push my nose against it, see if I can smell anything?
Oh yes.
You know, like a raptor.
Make yes. Please do it.
Snurf, snurf, snurf.
Can I see your
Make a
Allosaurus?
Not
snurf.
terrifying at all.
Hello? I'm
wanna
here to
see it.
save you.
Okay, I was.
Children in the kitchen. I'm only here to make friends.
Like, hello, hi.
I'm gonna roll this d20.
Yeah, roll a d20 and add 5.
16.
Okay, so you lightly boop the barn door open with your snout, and you kind of go. You inhale, leaving that Jurassic Park. You know that scene where the T-Rex in Jurassic Park 2 sticks his head in the waterfall?
Oh yeah.
You basically kind of do that.
Hello? Hello?
Hello? You smell some of that rancid, familiar flesh inside, right inside, to the point where you're like, is it right in front of me?
Uh-oh. I growl menacingly.
Okay, so as you're growling, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna quickly spin over to Torin. Torin, you're kind of like darting by as Pahoke's squeezing their snout into the barn door, and you kind of skid because you're not the most athletic, but you're but you're quick enough, and you spot where the person, where Emil originally saw the person darting away, and you immediately, as you kind of enter that area, you know that you smell a strange, almost like burning tea fragrance in the air, coupled with what can only be described as dirty oil smell.
Ew.
So it's kind of like this initial aroma of like a nice wooden incense under with a weird highlight of boily grease, really rancid grease.
Grease.
Okay.
The smell is palatable and very strong where you are.
Okay.
So.
Do I see any tracks? Can I see where?
Yeah, let's have you make. Do you want to make an investigation check, or do you want to try to make a perception? Are you trying to spot it? Or, well, I guess you'd have to try to spot it.
I'm trying to see if there's blood or anything on the ground, to see if this was an injured person who ran away, or if it's I don't know, maybe the feet are weird and fucked up, and it might be one of the other.
Okay.
I don't
make
know.
a perception.
I'm trying
check
to figure out what it is.
We'll have you make a perception check for this then. Getting some goofy rolls here.
I lost Percy, so let's go with it.
Ugh.
Damn it. Okay. Well, it's a good thing I didn't use Percy. But Vex didn't do much better, so that was a 11.
11.
Have you
Okay.
named your dice?
You
No, there's specifically the critical roll.
The critical roll.
20s.
That's why I laughed, because at first I was like, it just sounds like you've named your dice.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past me.
For luck.
So you look around and you don't spot any tracks right away or anything, but you do kind of have that weird scent in the air. But you do spot, as you're kind of searching for a second, you see a weird crack in the side of the barn where it looks like someone might have burned a hole into it.
Okay.
Yeah. But before you're able to investigate, you kind of hear a little bit of a howl from inside the barn. Pahokee, suddenly...
Wouldn't it be?
Well, so...
Because I wanted to get up to the window so I could look inside and do a check.
Alright, so as you're kind of leaning forward in, you kind of you have dark vision, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. So as you lean forward in, you spot immediately in the bottom floor, huddled behind like a haystack is a halfling and two human
Stable
hands, dressed very similar to the other ones that you saw. They seem to be hiding and cowering. Both of the stable hands are holding back the young halfling woman who's been trying to break free as she's pointing at the horse. And you can see the agitated horse. The chains are like rattling as a very magnificent, like very well-bred horse is sort of struggling in the center. A few scratches can be seen on the back of the horse as a ghoul is slowly kind of like crawling towards the beast. Its weird mouth like agape and drooling with a devilish hunger. But before you can really communicate that, you spot the barn door kind of cracking open, leading some like skylight into the area, and then a large sniff noise kind of like just detracts the ghoul as it spins around, and it sort of hiss and kind of like getting ready to lunge at the snoot of an Allosaurus.
So I can see what's going on inside. Okay, now we can have you can get back to Pokey and their snoot.
Okay. As you sniff and snoot
growl.
and growl, suddenly a sharp pain kind of comes onto your front. Actually, well, maybe a sharp
Not
pain.
my
Let's-
snooter.
Let's find if it hits.
Not my snooter.
Yeah. Suddenly, several little like stings, kind of like almost like porcupine, like you know, like when a dog like pokes a porcupine in the face. It almost feels like that when suddenly just sharp pain hits the top of your like soft snoot area, and you hear the growling and hissing of a ghoul as it's sort of latched onto your face.
Uh-oh. Does that do damage?
Yes,
Let me
it,
go
it
get my
bites
Allosaurus.
onto you, and you don't need to make a Constitution save, by the way.
Okay. Hold on, I had my
Okay,
Allosaurus points on here. Yes! Oh, I am still at
My-
full Allosaurus point. Heck yeah.
Are.
You take 9 points of piercing damage
Okay, and
as
I
it just lunges and bites into you. And then make a
Stop doing
Constitution
this.
save.
It's not gonna make it
It's
better.
probably not helping.
No, it's not.
Your hair looks so good. It's still really cute though.
Yeah.
It looks intentional.
I got
still.
an 8.
Okay. Suddenly, Vishka, you're kind of hanging up and you see what's happening, and you hear you kind of like pull your head back for a moment, and you hear like a kind of like a roar, and then suddenly a large thud as the Allosaurus falls over, just bitten on the face. So you've just been bit on the face, and before you can even react, like you're about to like chomp down on the creature, but suddenly you feel numbness on your face, and it sort of just crawls all over to your neck, and you basically become paralyzed from the ghoulish bite.
Pokey goes,
So as you're investigating the weird singe in the corner, you suddenly hear a poof, like from just where you are from the other side of the bar.
Okay, well, what am I looking? Is it a hole or is it just like a crack?
It
Like,
looks
could something
like
fit through there?
it looks like a hand could fit through there, and it looks like something was placed inside of the barn. But it's hard to tell from your angle. You don't have dark vision. It's really
No, I
dark in
don't.
there, and but you
Can
see
I
that.
can I take out
stick
my
your
light
hand
stone
in
and
there.
cast light?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
kind of gently lob it through the crack without putting my hand in there because I don't know what's
Okay.
in there.
Okay.
Just kind of like
stick
You
your
just
hand in
you
there.
cast light, and then you kind of just slip it through. It's wide enough that it like will fit fine. And sure enough, like the rock hits the bottom, and there's a little pile of what looks like sort of like a little glass bottle with a bunch of incense sticking out from it that are still burning.
No, don't like that. Is that all I can do? Or
That's pretty much all you can do. Because like as you're doing it, the thump happens, and you're like, oh
Okay.
shoot. Vishka, you're kind of above, and you see Pahokee just collapse.
Okay,
in
yeah.
front.
So and where I'm at on there, is this like the top level of the barn? So
Yeah, this is like
there's
the top level.
the-
Like you could, if you hopped in, you'd be on that overhang
Yeah,
area
that
with
bit.
the
Okay,
ladder.
good,
Yeah.
good. Okay, that's what I was hoping. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and climb in the window.
All right, you pull yourself in, and that'll just be kind of like half your movement.
Yeah.
Because you just pull yourself in, and you're up at the banister.
Wait, are we like in initiative right now?
I'm gonna say that this is
like
a
loose initiative.
yeah,
Okay.
loose initiative.
Okay, gotcha.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so okay. I'll
You
go
see
ahead.
one ghoul. You see the ghoul as it's like sort of like
Is that the
attacking
only one in
Pahokee.
there?
It's the only one. It's
Okay.
only one ghoul.
Okay.
It's sort of slashing at the face of Pahokee,
Okay.
who's still the Allosaurus, but seems to be unable to move. Some sort of ghoulish paralysis.
Okay.
But you are above it, so you could like.
I'm gonna
drop down or-
quietly pull out my crossbow.
All right, you kind of slip out your weapon,
And
load a bolt into it.
Yes. So let's see, and I'm going to try and shoot that.
Make an attack roll.
Okay.
And then I'll consider this like true initiative.
Okay.
Once the actual attack happens.
Okay.
Real attacks.
So sorry, I gotta do that. I gotta check how this works again. Okay, so that's okay.
Is the door open now, by the
A
way?
D20
Yes.
plus
You got
4.
pushed.
Okay, D20 plus 4, I think.
Wait, I have.
Yeah,
Wait,
you have. Yeah, I can double check for you as well. You have a +5. You have a +5 with your light crossbow.
Oh, I have a plus 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that is a well. It could have been better, but okay. So that is a you said +5, so it's a 15.
15 hits.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah.
that means let me check what damage I do.
It's a 1d8 plus 2.
1d8 plus 2. Okay. Which one am I gonna get? This is a D10. There's a D8.
A beautiful d8.
Noise. Okay, so that is let's do 7 points of damage.
Oh, I mean that's pretty good. All right, so you aim for a moment and fire the crossbow, and kind of silently whizzing through the air, it strikes the ghoul like pretty dead on, smacking it against the snoot of the Allosaurus, and kind of flumping back. The creature kind of sort of spins around. It doesn't seem to have too much intelligence. It seems to be scurrying on
Yeah,
the ground,
she's just
trying to
gonna,
figure
like,
out what's going on.
duck back.
In doing so, during this time, the ghoul seems to have spotted the halfling woman.
Oh, shit.
Because she's kind of broken free from the stable hands and was making her way towards the horse. And the ghoul kind of turns around and sort of like eyes lit up in the night, starts to kind of scurry after her, thinking that she was the one who shot it. So now I'll have you guys roll initiative.
Okay.
Yeah. Pahokee. Yeah, you're
11.
paralyzed, but go ahead and roll initiative anyway.
Pahokee
Oh,
rolled
plus
a
3.
1.
Sorry. Sorry.
So-
That's 14.
14? Okay.
16.
16. And Pokey got 7. So order is going to be basically...
1.
What?
Oh, well, 1 plus whatever.
Well, you got a 1?
I rolled a 1, yeah.
Okay, well, you're last anyways. So Torin, Vishka, the ghoul, Darcy... Oh, wait, I shouldn't have said that. Well, the halfling woman.
Well, they said, "Oh, Lady Darcy."
I figured that was
I was like,
probably Lady
I don't know
Darcy.
why I feel like, oh, it's not, you can't do this question marks until you talk to her. And then Pahokee. So, Torin, you hear the commotion, and with the light spell, you suddenly, so as you toss the light spell in there with the rock, one of the stage, like, there's a foot nearby that kind of like slumps forward, and you see like a hand kind of like come up, a face sort of like comes up in front of you and says, oh, who are you? Are you here to help? Please.
Okay, real quick. This incense or whatever that's burning in this jar, does it seem like it was probably put there from this side?
Yeah, it looks like it's clumsily
It looks like
tossed
someone
in
like
there.
cracked
It's
a hole and put incense in there.
Yeah, it almost looks like someone burned a hole through there and then tossed the bottle in there. Because the incense jar is like, the bottle is like kind of slit on the side,
Okay.
with the incense sort of sticking out, kind of lit
And
up.
it's burning, right?
Yeah, it is burnt. It's like, it's smoking. You can see it with the light spell.
Okay.
The two people in front of you probably haven't noticed because of the commotion in the...
I'm gonna be like,
barn.
yeah, I'm here to help. Meanwhile, I'm going to cast Ray of Frost at the incense to try and put it out.
Perfect! I like
Because
that.
I see that, I get the feeling it was put from this side and someone ran off in the woods, so I'm like, that's probably bad.
You
So I'm just...
you said the guy's like, oh, what's this? And you freeze the bottle and where the incense are, and you kind of stop the smoke.
Yeah. We're like, don't worry, I'm here to help. As I like put like the very
Okay.
tip of my nose through the crack, like
Just
it's okay.
another snoot.
Another snoot. It's fine.
A smaller snoot.
You don't see very much of them, but you get the sense that they are visibly confused on what's happening.
And then
They're gonna get saved by 2 lizards.
and then that was my action. Can I do anything else?
You can move now. It only takes maybe like a round to get to the other side of the barn where Pahokee is.
I'm gonna stay where I am because I want to grab that bottle before
Okay.
someone else can grab it. But if I can't do that this turn, I'll wait.
Actually, with your movement, I'll let you like reach in and just grab it.
Yeah, I want to grab the bottle and bring it
Okay.
out.
Yeah. So like basically, you zap it and then like you're like, I'm here to help, and then you just reach in and grab the bottle. The stable hand's like, is that gonna help us get out of here?
Just be like, hang on.
Okay.
I'm doing a thing. Hold on.
One thing at a time.
Just stay calm. We got it. And I'm like,
Yeah. As you're kind of hand in there, like reaches in, he's like,
Scrabble, 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 scrabble.
Visha, you are up next. You spot the ghoul like sort of like it's still low and it's not charging, but it's like inching its way towards Darcy, who hasn't noticed as she's trying to calm the horse down. You see that she's like, using like horse sweet talk and kind of going, it's okay, Windrunner, it's okay, or Wind Dancer, sorry.
Okay. I was like, I got to adjust my crossbow bolts here.
I'm sorry, Mahoki, you are paralyzed.
Yes.
You'll probably be paralyzed for this the rest of the
Because I'm like, they got it. I gotta deal with this insect.
Wow, wow, wow.
Okay.
Wow, wow, wow.
Okay.
Just like, wow, 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 wow.
Okay. Let's see here, and then my equipment. What do I have in terms of?
Oh, if it helps, it looks like the ghoul is seriously wounded, and it would be charging if it could, but you note that part of its flesh seems to already have like damage on it. It looks like at some point the three inside might have tried to defend themselves against the creature.
Okay, I'm actually just gonna pull up my crossbow and do it again.
All right, yeah, take another shot.
Okay, hold on. Gotta adjust my number of bolts.
I like that you're keeping track of that.
Because I haven't been using my crossbow. Because I've been using everything else.
All the magics.
Well, actually, I don't really use my magic in fights very much because I have functional magic. I don't really have a lot of
that's
battle magic.
a good point. Yeah.
Mostly, I attack people with my claws. I think mostly I just physically assault people.
I just mostly physically assault.
Yep. Or use the magic missile wand.
Oh,
Which
that's right. Which you do have. You can use that as well. It's fully charged.
I don't want to scare the horse too much.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay.
Because the horse might freak out if something like loud and explosive like that happens, but a dart...
I'll say this: magic missile is one of the quieter spells.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, but spells like fireball and lightning bolt, they're more bombastic.
Okay, gotcha.
But something like magic missile is somewhat more subtle. Okay. Just
Oh, okay, yeah, because I was like, something like bright and whizzy might scare the horse more than just a...
Yeah. So, I mean, that's good thoughts, actually.
Okay.
Whoa!
Nat 20!
Whoa! Hey! I think that's the first natural 20 on a weapon attack in this.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
So
roll for damage and roll twice the 2d8s. So you get to roll 2d8 plus 2 damage.
Okay. Okay.
And the dice is double, right? Or do you just...
It's that's the double, the 2d8. Oh, hi.
Yes, the 2d8. So, okay, so that's 7 and 3.
3. So 15 damage? Because you roll a total.
Because you double whatever you roll on the dice, right?
So wait,
what?
Natural 20?
Yeah, with the natural 20. Did you roll 2d8s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one's a 5 and one's a 1.
Oh, okay. Actually, let's have you just double the damage then. We'll do 10.
Okay.
Plus the 13. So 13 damage. Yeah.
Okay, 13 damage.
Yeah, 13 damage.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. For a second, you're loading the second crossbow bolt, and you kind of look down and you note that the ghoul is sort of standing up. It's about to pounce on Darcy. She hasn't noticed at all because all she cares about is the horse. And as the creature sort of like crouches down to lunge, in the moment it sort of like leaps up, you see it's now or never, and you release the crossbow bolt, and as the creature like lunges forward, you strike it right through the neck to the like just whoosh, and it's a quiet, smooth bolt, just a straight shot. And as the creature lunges forward, its body is still in the momentum, but its head just sort of rolls off the body, and it and it kind of just slurms over. And Darcy kind of like is shaken, but turns around and looks, and it's just like, oh. And then finally notices you and is like surprised at the unconscious Allosaurus, the cat up in the like roof area, and then the fucking dragonborn reaching and grabbing the
blue
bottle.
scaly. This woman's like, what the hell?
Like, what is
That's fine. I
happening?
grabbed it and pulled it out. It's good. And I'm just like looking through the hole now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just like,
There's just like
again.
a dragon eye looking through the hole.
It's suddenly quiet in there.
Just gonna call out, everybody okay?
You can hear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kitty knock something over?
Yeah, she's just stumbling.
Yeah, I think she just stumbled.
Mahoki's gonna, not Mahoki, V's gonna go ahead and hop down from where she is, and,
It's like a 20-foot drop, but you can just scale the wall.
Okay, yeah.
Like with your like.
Well, there's a ladder or something.
Yeah.
She gets down.
You hop down, and the two other stable hands kind of like, one of them sort of goes over to Darcy to try to like make sure she's okay, and then the other one is like the one that you've been talking to is like just staring at you and just like, who are you people?
I'm just gonna reach in slowly and pick up my light rock and blow
He's like, what is happening?
ahead, because V's gonna try and go over to the prone Pahokee.
Yeah. Pokey is like sit there, like is paralyzed. You see like a little bit of the drool kind of flowing, like pouring out of Pahoke's big maw. The eyes seem to be dilated and like looking around in a sort of a dizzying haze.
I'm trying to figure out which one of my spells is the one that I'm supposed to use for that. Hang on.
I think Lesser Restoration might work.
Yeah, that's it. There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of pat Pahokee on. What? How long does it take for that to wear off?
Make a knowledge Arcana check.
Okay.
I'll have both of you guys make it just in case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm assuming that you probably have marched your way.
No, I'm still at the
you're
back
still
of the
there.
barn.
Never
Yeah.
mind, then you probably wouldn't see it.
It's fine. I rolled a 3 anyway, which is an 8.
Okay, Arcana check.
I'm +5 to Arcana.
Well, okay, I'll just use that anyway. So it's a 14 plus 6, so 20.
20. You note that ghoul fever or ghoulish wounds can paralyze a victim for up to a minute.
Up to a minute.
Up to a minute, usually.
Okay, but Pahokee's probably not like necrotizing or anything. Just
No, Pokey seems like it's just the bite seems to be
kind of just there's
the normal ghoulish paralysis.
Okay.
It's not necrotizing.
So
per se.
okay, I'm not going to cast Lesser Restoration. Then in that case, V's just gonna come over and pat Pahokee like on the forehead, just kind of like stick her hand and just pat, pat, pat.
You kind of see what's happening. It's think of it like you're in a deep fever. Your eyes are wandering all over here. Your temperature is up and down right now.
V's just gonna pat Pahokee on the head and just be like,
you'll shake it off.
yeah, it's like, don't worry, you'll come out of it in a minute or two.
Can I do some kind of check on this incense to see if I can figure out what it's for?
Yeah. So your freeze spell didn't like freeze an entire block, but it did like chill it. So it's like
I was just trying to put the fire out.
Exactly. So that's exactly what happened. You're looking at this strange incense. They look like perfectly normal incense, but there's a tinge of strange arcana on them.
And V
Go
has
ahead and
not
make a
noticed.
arcane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and V didn't notice it, so
Yeah, like at the angle you would have been like
I would've
they
been-
would have been hidden in the corner.
yeah.
and-
So V has no idea about this incense except for me it'd
16?
be a cheated smell.
You sense that
Wait, my Arcana is +5, right? I just need to check that. Sorry. I was like, wait, let me check that before I say that for sure that that's the number. Yeah, it's +5, so 16.
Okay. Perfect.
I'm rolling a lot of 11s right
A
now.
lot of 11s. 16 is actually enough. You sort of stare down at the incense and you kind of naturally sort of like, rub the tip of it to kind of get the powder into your hands and sure enough it smells exactly like incense that had been dipped in some sort of strange grease. But as far as you can tell, it does have a tinge of arcane to it. Some sort of luring spell. Something that seems to attract undead to the area.
So, like ghoul bait.
Yeah, some sort of ghoul bait. Like, you can tell that it's a normal incense that has been dipped and enchanted in some sort of strange oil.
For that specific reason.
For that
Okay.
effect. It leaves kind of like as you're rubbing it between your fingers, it leaves the oil, and the oil kind of leaves that foul smell that sort of that as far as you can tell is probably what attracted the ghouls
Okay.
to you. And it's not a pleasant smell. It's almost like rotting fish a little bit.
Ew.
Like a very
I
ugh.
rub my hand off on the ground.
Yeah, you basically shove your
into the dirt.
paw into dirt trying to get the smell off.
I'm gonna pull out, if I have some sort of spare fabric or like a rag or something, I was gonna pull out like a rag and wrap the incense up.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
And stick it in my bag.
Your provisions and from combat damage and stuff like that, you guys have sort of scrapes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you're able to kind of wrap up the incense. There's about 3 full sticks left. They've only burned about maybe 10% of the way down. So they're almost complete. This was a really fresh one.
Okay, and then I'm gonna extinguish the light in the rock and make my way back.
Okay.
Yeah, since V's gave Pahokee a couple of pats, she's gonna kind of look over at the actual people in the barn and
All right.
yeah.
So you spot Darcy, who is a well-dressed young halfling woman.
Uh-huh.
She wears almost kind of riding crops a little
Uh-huh.
bit, but has a nicer jacket and vest on, and sort of because you guys have been around halflings, you spot her pocket watch kind of hanging out from her side. She just sort of looks at you, and kind of sees the Allosaurus and goes, "Is that Is that a friendly pet?
Yes, it's not actually a pet. She's just turned us. They've turned themselves into that. It's magic. That's.
Okay, alright.
Oh, so
Yes.
she's paralyzed right now, so it's. Yes. She won't hurt you. Anyway.
Thank you for saving me. You've done our farm a service by keeping alive this year's champion horse, Wind Dancer. She kind of pats the horse on the side. The stable hand is... You see the stable hand that, like, kind of stood up with her, kind of checking to make sure that Darcy's okay.
Yeah.
As I'm just kind of standing there like, we were a little more worried about the people, but I'm glad your horse is okay.
She kind of, like, absentmindedly kind of nods. As, yes, the people who tend to the horses. Very important people. She kind of looks around and kind of straightens herself up and says... Thank you! My name is Darcy Riverhome. I'm a proprietor, one of the many proprietors, I should say, of the Riverhome family ranch. We're a racing family. She kind of pats the horse next to her, and again, like, it's a large, majestic...
Oh,
like,
actually, that would make sense that halflings would be jockeys because of their size.
Yeah. I was, like, literally thinking that. I'm like, oh, they're kind of perfect for that size.
Yeah.
She kind of looks around and says, strange, though, and... Rivals would want our horse dead, but it's well after Derby season. We've already won the championship. She kind of looks around nervously and says, "What? Who are you people?"
We're just traveling. We're on a road on the way to Dragon's Meet. We just ended up passing through or just past your area, and we saw the rotten fellows on the roof.
Oh, so just by chance then. Well, thank you again for saving. I assume everyone's alive.
We assume so.
We haven't really done a head count, but I think we've managed to get rid of most of the ghouls before people are...
She kind of nods and then sort of says, yes, let's meet up at the main ranch. She kind of motions for her two other stable hands. They kind of like pick themselves up. One of them kind of goes, well, ma'am, what should we do with the body? Sure enough, like, the ghoul is kind of dead on the ground, just headless. The bolt that you shot is in perfect condition, by the way.
I'm gonna pick it back up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick it back up.
What is that? It landed softly in some hay on the ground.
Alright, cool. I have. Alright.
Bahoki, you're kind of regaining consciousness at this point. You can kind of, you start to hear sort of, like, light voices kind of saying, like, oh, we should all gather up.
Nice shot. Where've you been?
Oh, yeah.
Because I couldn't see him.
I suspect Pahoki is just gonna roll over.
Puke. Oh god. Okay. Suddenly you hear just as bits of what was the zombie ogre kind of pour out, as well as some clumps of bone and some other things. The two stable hands just look horrified. They're like, oh! And Darcy kind of like is just petting her horse and like, oh yes, be sure to clean it up. Come on. She kind of motions for the three of you and kind of like pats you on the side of your leg.
Pahoki goes pop back into Pahoki.
Poof! On the fun.
What mushroom did I eat? Vishka, I need to write it down.
I didn't think it was a mushroom, dear. I think it was a partially decayed ogre.
I gotta write it down.
Oh, yes. Wonderful. She kind of,
I would say too, Darcy, well, it might be after racing season, but I think somebody wanted an attack to happen here. Do you often have problems with undead?
She kind of narrows her eyes a little bit, sort of straightens herself up and says, no, my family is in good standings with all the other families of the Foothill Farms. We're quite respectable.
We saw someone run off from the barn out into the woods. Did you see anybody before you were attacked?
She kind of darts around to the side of the barn, kind of looking down the trail. Just, can't think of anybody who would want us dead, I suppose. Or at least anybody who would want to harm my horses. She kind of looks around nervously, kind of does a quick head count of someone, like, she sort of, like, does a quick head count of her, like, stable hands. Mm-hmm. Yes, all accounted for. No one's here. Father was sent to get the guard. I'm sorry, I don't have much information for you. She kind of thinks for a second, says, yeah, I'm really sorry. You hear the stable hands kind of like dragging the ghoul corpse out of the barn, and one of them has like a stick and they're kind of like rolling the head out. And several of the other stable hands have kind of come back and surrounded them. So now there's like 7 stable hands around.
Okay.
The elderly one kind of comes up and as so who has the highest perception again? Let me.
Probably.
Passive?
Yeah, just passive.
Might be.
Actually,
me.
sorry, the highest investigation. That is you.
That is me.
I was like,
Yeah,
investigation.
Yeah, that's what I was actually asking. You note that
Mine
the
is
elderly
12.
person kind of everyone seems to be enraptured by the carnage of it, but the elderly man is particularly he kind of holds his hand against his mouth, kind of takes a step back when he sees the head kind of rolling out. Oh, and you see a very nervous look, and suddenly beads of sweat sort of kind of
V's
pour
gonna
down
look at
his
him and
head.
go, familiar face?
Kind of looks at you. Darcy seems to be chatting with the stable hands, and
She's
kind
gonna say so quietly. She's not gonna.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you say it quietly, things oh, don't recognize that man at all.
Did I hear this?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the 3 of you guys are kind of together
Yeah.
right
Do an
now.
insight check.
Make an insight
See if
check.
he's telling the truth.
Yeah. Shit.
Oh dear.
Ooh, this is good. Okay.
God, I'm rolling like shit.
That is a 21 for me.
Jesus.
21. What did you get?
14.
14. Mahokey?
14.
Well, all of you guys can tell he's lying because he rolled a natural 1 and his left hand is just shaking. Just shaking. You gotta. Kind of looks at you very nervously, and you see
He's just going to,
sweat, and the 3 of you guys staring at him.
Just
He's
kinda-
just oh dear.
If he's gonna do that thing where cats do, where they just kind of that terrifying thing where they're just staring into your soul. She's just
He kind of looks at you. Listen, I'll tell you what I know, but just not in front of my lady. She's forbidden it.
all right.
He kind of bows and sort of tries to pick himself up. Sort of wipes him, he pulls out a handkerchief and kind of wipes himself down, and then sort of approaches the rest of the stable hands. And Darcy seems to be giving everyone the big thumbs up, and then showing off Wind Dancer, the majestic horse from earlier. There's a few scratches on Wind Dancer's hind, but Darcy seems to be just happy that the horse is okay.
Yeah.
And unafflicted.
CJ's here.
Hey!
Okay, so
Our favorites
now
arrived.
that everything kind of calmed down, I'm gonna approach Darkoth.
Darkoth. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You see that he's kind of leaned
Oh,
against
yeah, I
one
forgot
of
about
the
him and
fences
Diagron.
with Digron, Kashro, and
Like,
Ka.
excuse
Both
me,
the 3 of them look pretty nervous around him, but Darkoth has a big smile as he's kind of leaning himself. He's he's got clearly aching on the shoulder.
Yeah.
But
Do
he
you mind-
has.
Do you mind if I take a look at that?
Aye! Nothing I haven't had before.
Yeah, we should
Kinda-
probably still take a look at it.
Yeah. He kind of turns his back, and unlike the other wounds you've seen, his is necrotizing in a strange sort of rapid manner. Before what was once just a small bite is now covered most of his bicep.
To the ear. She'll do the ear twitch. Yes?
You think you can do anything about this? It looks like it's spreading.
He's gonna trot over and just look at. Oh, yes. I guess.
Oh, he kind of groans a little bit. Says, at least I got rich from it. Make an insight check.
What does that mean? Oh, pff.
Wow.
Now I roll a fucking 18. Are you serious? That's 18 plus 5. So that is a
that's
23.
the DC was 16, so you rolled it. Vishka, as you're kind of crossing over, you kind of hear him chuckle that, but then Torin, your eyes sort of wander into his clutched fist, and you spot a little bit of light, like a little red light kind of coming out from it. He's squeezing his fist quite hard.
What?
Oh, yes! He kind of pushes past you a little bit and kind of shows the wound to you.
It's gonna be difficult for me to heal that while you've got your hand in such a tight fist. Whatever you're holding, put it in your other hand.
Kind of says, alright, but it's mine! I found it on the damn ghouls!
I'm not going to take
It's
it
a ruby
from you.
in that.
He opens his pouch and 4 rubies are, he places them into his, little pouch. And you see his hands, you see that he was clutching the rubies so hard that some blood, actually, from his own hand seemed to have...
Dorkoth, I'm not gonna take those from you, but do you mind if I just look at one real quick?
Look at my rubies!
I just want to see if they're magic. That's it, and then you can have it back.
Magic rubies?
Yes.
You think there's magic rubies?
We have
Yes.
several.
Well, yes, dwarves believe in magic rubies.
So while he's doing that, V's
Can
gonna
I
go
do an
ahead.
Arcana check on the ruby to see if they're okay?
Yeah, so while he's doing that, V's gonna go ahead and be like, okay, and just kind of
Fuck you.
cringe a little bit before
Yeah.
putting her little paw on his rotting
so
arm.
you touch. So what you expected to be hard flesh from his muscled form actually is soft, and
Gooey, yeah, 'cause that-
yeah.
yeah, that's why she's
Yeah, so you're like, oh. But as you cast the spell, you feel the spell working, but it only seems to be working so far. You see some of like the necrotizing sort of like recede a little bit towards the primary wound, but it doesn't cure it like it should, and you know it should because you're confident in this magic. You're like, 13. Okay.
I rolled an 8.
You examine the ruby, and while it is warm to the touch, and similar to the other warm rubies, the tinge of magic on there seems to be, if it's anything, it's very complicated, and a little bit above your station.
Okay.
You're almost nervous giving it back to him, though, however, because in a weird sense, it gives you the strange feeling that you've had anytime you've met other, like, diabolical forms. Like
Can I call Mage Brother? I can't remember his fucking name right now. The magey orc.
Cashro?
Oh, Cashro, yeah, Cashro.
I
Castro's like standing next to him.
Yeah, because Digron's the big one, right?
Yeah, Digron's the muscle, and then Cashro's the brains.
Castro, you don't happen to have detect magic, do you?
Cashro kind of nods and says, one of the first spells any orc magician would learn, detect magic.
Would you mind taking a look at this ruby and just seeing if you can tell what it is?
He kind of grabs his spell book and sort of thumbs through the right page, draws a circular rune in it, which lights up the page, and then he kind of pulls his finger out, and kind of like a wisp of arcana brightly kind of dances around his fingertips, and he kind of like grabs the like basically just pokes the ruby, and suddenly you see his eyes kind of light up with arcana. As let me double check exactly what the spell does.
Oh yeah, I actually have Dispel Magic. So.
Yeah. Could you read it
So
for me?
choose a
100%?
creature, object, or magical effect within the range. Any third level spell or lower on the target ends.
No, that's dispel. We're doing detect.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, detect. I
Yeah.
do have that one too.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Oh, you have detect magic. God,
I do, but it's okay because now I don't have to use spell.
Yeah. You had.
Okay.
That's not.
Okay. Okay, so you can sense the presence of magic. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura or Okay, spend can.
Alright.
So okay, here you go. So you can learn its school of magic if any.
That's the part I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can learn the school of magic.
So the arcane lights kind of like fade from his eyes, and he kind of looks confused. He says, "Necromancy. Some sort of necromancy enchantment on these rubies."
Hey,
as-
Darkoth.
As Darkoth hears that, he's like, "Necromancy on my damn rubies!" Oh, he seems frustrated and kind of like looking around, like almost like he wants to punch something. He says,
Do you mind if we just hang on to the rest of those for the moment? Because I don't think that's supposed to be there. And I'm pointing at his arm.
He's gonna be like, this
And you're
spell
holding on to necromantic rubies, which are probably not helping.
kind of his face scrunches up, and you see him like. You see, like, the twisted, sort of, like, weird anger mixed with greed, kind of, like,
do a
he
persuasion check if I
closes
have
his
to.
eyes, he squeezes his fist, he says, fine! He kind of pulls out the rubies and hands you the 3 other
Okay,
ones.
so because I still have I'm still trying to cast the thingy.
Yeah, you're still kind of like, because it's restoration, it's gonna
Yeah.
take a second or two.
Yeah, and it's like, this is not working the way it's supposed to.
As he hands off the rubies, however, you see that the spell almost suddenly jerks, like, it's almost like it's not like a surge of power, because you're still casting the spell, but you see that the wound sort of just recedes.
Yeah,
and
just
becomes like a
heals.
normal bite. And you're like, you kind of look at your paws and you're like,
And the ruby, look at the rubies, and you're like, well, your hypothesis was correct.
Yeah, I don't think these are good.
I wonder, because I do have Dispel Magic.
So you see Kargoth kind of like take his shoulder, kind of like bends the muscle a little bit. And as you're like removing your paws, it becomes firm, like it's muscle again. He kind of goes, "Oh, not bad, cat." He points at you and says, "You owe me 4 rubies."
I do, but would you mind if I make sure they're not gonna turn you undead first?
Kind of his face scrunches up again. He says, Yes. We don't want cursed.
I'm not trying
rubies.
to cheat you out. I just want to make sure that we're not going to see you turn into a ghoul or something. So just...
Okay.
Okay, I owe you 4 rubies. I will remember that. Okay.
He points at his head, then he points at his beard. Beards don't get this long with broken promises.
Okay, I'm just puzzling that out as I kind of bring the
Sounds
rubies over
serious,
towards you.
Tony.
I'm taking the 4th ruby from Castro.
Castro, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep want to call him Kasha. Completely other character. Sorry. Castro, got it.
Okay.
So these are apparently necromancy rubies.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that the
wait.
sort of thing that I would think that my magic could undo?
It depends on the... I guess, for you, as someone who is, much like Torrin, kind of naturally flows with magic, you suspect that there are probably ways to disenchant it, but with how subtle the enchantment is and probably how complex it is, it might not be a one-day thing. You might need an expert in the field.
Gotcha. So so a dispel magic probably wouldn't work then.
Yeah. You suspect that a simple dispel might not be the correct
Not
cure.
be enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Okay. Well, in that case, because we got rubies. At some
I'm
point,
like,
didn't
I've
we?
got some.
Yeah, you guys... So these rubies look astonishingly like the rubies that you guys got
I
in your
have 10
cache.
rubies.
Yeah, you each have 10 rubies from the
They
original.
look like our rubies are. I'm gonna pull out one of my rubies.
Okay.
Do I sense any magic on the ruby I have?
Make an arcane check.
Oh,
Clearly, you
God.
make an arcane check for these ones.
Please,
For the
come on.
original rubies that you guys got.
Come on, Percy. Fuck you.
I will do 1 too then.
8!
8! It's hard to discern.
Alright.
You're kind of staring at them.
Hold on. I Arcana.
Damn it,
you said?
Percy! You're going in the bag.
Yeah.
Well,
You're
my
on timeout.
this roll wasn't great, but it is better than that.
16.
16? 16. So you and Vishka are like... so Vishka and... Or Torrin and... The two of you...
Yeah. So
Tori
people
V,
pull out one
Tori
of
V.
hers and be like,
Yeah. Both of you kind of stare at the original rubies, and while you don't discern... So there's a familiarity between the two different gems.
Yeah.
However, the ones that you were given do not seem to be layered in any complicated enchantments.
so they're
It
not.
seems to be just the way the rubies are, because there's a faint glow to these ones naturally, and there's a certain warmth to it, but it's not like the cursed rubies, for lack of a better word.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Their
so I'm-
rubies, his rubies are cursed rubies.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna take 4 of my rubies and, like, hand them to
Oh, okay.
Darkoth.
The dwarf, like...
These ones we know aren't cursed. Try those.
The dwarf looks at you, he sees his eyes kind of get wide, he says, "You've kept an oath."
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
kind of nods and...
He's just gonna reach over and just pat him on the shoulder. Not the dwarf, not Torrin. Just kind of.
You know, oaths mean a lot to the Thunder Dwarfs. Come here! He grabs you and lifts you up and squeezes you deeply.
You done well, Torin.
This beard will grow long for you. Give me your family name. Give it to me.
I can't breathe.
He's squeezing you really tight.
Somebody get him off me.
Give me your family name. That's all I need.
Be okay.
If I have your family name, I can carve it out in stone for you.
Oh god, okay, it's me, Aston! Just let me
Oh, Ashton! Lovely name!
Darkoth, I can't breathe.
Ah, he releases you.
go! We're just gonna kind of double over a little bit.
I think he bruised a rib.
You do feel yourself like, tangled. He says, oh, yes.
He's gonna go over and tap Torrin and cast Cure Wounds.
I'm a full health, don't
Okay.
cast a spell.
Just kind of.
He, as if nobody saw it happen, he marches over to the two orcs and explains the oath that just occurred literally minutes ago.
Yeah.
In grandiose detail.
I'm going to take. I'm gonna take an empty potion vial. Actually, if these will fit in there,
I'm gonna
put
say
the
they
rubies
are.
In the
Yeah,
bottle.
they'll
Okay,
fit. They're
so I'm gonna
small
stick the
enough.
cursed rubies in the bottle.
They dink in there.
Or they're not
and,
cursed,
you
but
seal
you know
them.
the magic
Yeah.
rubies, and I'm gonna like seal them in like an empty potion bottle.
Do you want to put those in the bag of holding with the
please.
evil rock?
Collecting a lot of evil curse
I'm
things.
sure putting them in the same bag's gonna be fine, guys.
Oh god.
Oh.
Can I hold it?
No. Okay, I'm
That's an
putting
excellent point, Pahokee.
vial.
And then she
with
sticks it in the bag
4.
anyway.
Yeah, she's like, all right.
And she's like, that's a good point. But it's also the safest place to put them.
I'm writing down vial of 4 necromancy rubies.
Smart.
Ooh, yes, I like
Oh,
that.
and they're in my bag. Yeah, I gotta write that
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
So I have to like list all the shit that's in my bag.
Yeah, I don't even have them, so I'm just gonna list.
Actually, the only thing I think in my bag of holding right now is
I think it's
just
just the evil rock right now.
and the
isn't it?
evil ruby.
Yeah.
And the evil rubies.
evil
We have the evil
rubies.
rock and the evil rubies in the bag
Yeah.
of holding.
Okay, so I need to make a page for that.
I'm just picturing this dwarf just getting toward like at the waist.
Yeah,
Just
exactly. It's
picking him
like
up.
lifting you up. Most of your body is free, but your lower half is just squeezed.
His tail's like ah! Evil bag of holding him.
Okay, so we have the what was it called? It's a something stone.
Echo
Stone.
Echo Stone, yeah,
Yeah.
just the Echo Stone.
Okay, so I've got the.
By the
Echo
way,
Stone.
as you open the bag up, almost as if beckoning towards you for a split second, you
Necro-rubies.
feel the call of the Echo Stone. It begs you to release it.
She's just gonna drop the rubies in and close the
Yeah,
thing.
you're gonna just seal it up.
She's like, by the way, that rock is still definitely evil.
Oh, great. Well, that's why we're here, though, right?
The rock's awake again.
Oh, by the way, V, this attack was definitely not random.
Oh?
And I'm just gonna kind of. We can almost put these in the bag of holding, probably. I found these incense behind the barn, and it looks like somebody stuck them in the barn. As far as I can tell, they're meant to draw undead. So
That's... Well,
we have undead lures now.
can't imagine why we would want that, but better to
I
have
don't
than not,
know.
I guess.
Maybe next time we're in hell, we can trade it for something.
Ooh, that's true. That's true. Well, yeah, potentially, yeah.
Just kind of hold them up. Do you mind if I just drop them in the bag of holding?
Yes, go
Okay,
ahead.
evil incense.
As you start to deliver the evil incense, you also kind of feel a weird tug as the Echo Stone kind of like almost like begs you to just let it out. Just
No.
Close the bag, close the bag, close the bag!
Told you. It's
Yep.
awake.
Yep, no, it's...
Okay, so what should I put that incense down as?
we'll call them. I'll just give you guys the name of them. They're called Death Lure incense.
Death lore. Okay, so we have 3 death lore incense.
Death lure incense. Oh,
God, we're
'cause
just
it
stacking
lures
up the
dead.
Oh, you know what?
Amazing
Actually,
name, right?
no, actually, I think the bag of the bundle of elf flesh is in there too. That's where I
Oh
put it.
man, you guys have a really evil bag.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Cursed bag.
I'm actually like kind of surprised that.
No, evil bag of holding is a
Yeah,
good
evil
descriptor.
bag of holding. That's exactly what it is.
We have so
Oh my
much
gosh.
terrible shit
I was
in that
like,
bag
actually,
right
I
now.
could put my demon ichor in there too.
Yeah,
And
just
currently
really
it's
mix
not-
it up.
Currently, it's still in my actual bag. But I was like, oh yes, because
Oh
I
my
put the
God.
bundle of elf flesh in there after we came back. I forgot.
That's funny.
Because
We
it's
just have this
warm,
horrible,
and I was
horrible
like,
bag.
I can feel its body heat through my backpack, and it was making me uncomfortable.
These are really good.
Right?
We're eating these dry coconut treats too.
My mom sent me a care package, and it was coconut
Coconut.
and chocolate.
As the few of you guys are discussing it, note that Darcy is making her way over. But as she does so, the sound of horses kind of like storm towards you. And you spot several towns guards, led by sort of
That could be a
a stumpy
Necronomicon-style
dwarf.
bag.
Yeah, right?
Well, actually, bag of holdings are usually described as having a face stitched into them. So, yeah.
It's weird too because like the design is supposed to be like the smiling ones are good ones, but ones that are frowning are guys that are devouring, and those eat everything.
Oh.
And it's the opposite of a bag of holding.
Oh, so you
So
can...
we have a smiling bag of evil trinkets,
Yeah.
basically.
It loves us.
But
So we see city guard approaching.
yeah, basically a bunch of city guardsmen are approaching on horseback. About 7 of them,
That must
led
be
by a sort of a stumpy-looking dwarf. He wears a nice suit, but it's dirty and kind of tattered at the seams. He's got an unkempt black hair that's sort of waving around, and a beard that looks like it looks like it was a full beard at some point, but that he might have caught a fireball. Since part of it sort of
Singed part of
singed
it.
upward. The people arrive as they arrive. They kind of like flash the badge of the city guard, which is the symbol of a It is the symbol of the ocean, overlooking the Dragon's Mead Mountain, with a shield and a sword crossed through it.
Okay.
Town guard, Dragon's Watch, we're here. And the dwarf kind of hops off and looks around, says, "Are these the criminals?" Points at you guys.
No, we,
No. And I'm gonna point at wherever the undead bodies are at.
Town looks around, says,
And go, that was the criminals.
Pahokee is very good, sir.
All right, hang
That's
on.
Pahokee.
You're Pahokee. Where's the leader of the farm? Leader of the farm.
oh, Lady Darcy is, over with the
Darcy
horses.
kind of like waves and she kind of approaches you all and says, "Don't worry, I'll take care of this. You guys head on out. The inspectors can be tumultuous to deal with."
I am okay. Well, before she talks to them, I am gonna let her know that there was a lure placed here for the undead. So you might want to let them keep an eye out for undead attacks, because whoever did this got away.
Okay. So you explain the incense.
Yeah.
Kind of like, incense then. She kind of looks around and kind of looks at the sort of gives the inspector guy who's not even really paying attention. He's kind of just sitting
And then
there.
I'm gonna-
He clearly doesn't want to be there.
And I'm
but-
gonna remind her that whoever probably placed the incense ran off into the woods. So
Into the
just
foothills.
keep in mind whoever did that is still out there.
While Torin is trying to talk to her, V is going to try and track down the old guy who promised her info.
Oh.
Because
Alright.
the boss is going to be distracted with the inspector.
Yeah. Alright, so after you convey that information, you hear the halfling kind of low whistle, and two of the stable hands, the ones that were in the barn with her, kind of like trot over. She kind of mumbles something in there, but you can tell she's conveying the information about the incense, and kind of does like a sort of
Well,
a,
and they
a
could confirm
sweeping
because
motion.
they saw me grab it.
Yeah. So they kind of nod at you, and then sort of like sort of dart off towards the farm, and then they seem to begin a search. She kind of says, "All right. Just for our own safety, let's keep some of this information out of the inspector's hands. The Dragon's Watch mean well, but Lowtown offices tend to not be the most precise in their investigations." She kind of sighs and wanders over to the inspector.
Well, that's why I told her I
she's just
figured she
like,
could decide how much she wants to share.
That's really good. That's going to be helpful.
Yeah.
Vishka, you spot the elderly, the senior member, kind of like leaning against the sort of the stone fence that Torgoth was kind of leaned against. He's sort of like hanging out. He's kind of staring down southwards towards the city. He seems to be kind of lost in thoughts. A little bit of that sweat kind of like dribbling down his head. He sort of spots you approaching and kind of nervously nods a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
So, because I was like, so, while your boss is busy with the inspector, maybe you can tell me a bit more about this familiar face.
Dun dun dun.
He takes out a dirty handkerchief at this point, having wiped his brow several times. Says, "Listen, it's not safe to speak out here in the open. Can I meet you tonight at a tavern in Lowtown? 2 taverns, a public place. Find me there. I'll explain what I know, but please, you have to promise me one thing." He kind of looks around nervously, trying to figure out where Darcy is. He spots her speaking with the inspector, like 40 feet away. "You have to promise me. You won't tell my boss about this, and I'll tell you everything I know. Everything."
All right.
He kind of smiles nervously. The sweat, like literally, just kind of a big beads of sweat just kind of dribbles down as he's smiling, and he wipes his. "Hopefully, after this, it'll all be done then, eh?" "Thank you." Kind of puts it away, and then sort of like straightens his back up a little bit, kind of like slaps his face, and then sort of begins to bark orders towards the other stable hands to try to, because they're sort of just gawking at the situation now.
Yeah, because
and
they're
he's-
just like, there's just a pile of dead bodies and a goo puddle.
Yeah. Some of the town's guards are kind of nearby, and he even barks orders at the town's guard. He says, "Come on, lads, we need some help cleaning up these bodies." And so they start to move around and begin to like get sticks and like equipment to kind of like move along the piles of corpses that have been laid across the barn.
Okay.
Thaddeus, sort of, you can kind of spot Thaddeus
Oh, yeah.
leaning. Yeah, he's sort of leaning against his like the caravan kind of looking at the whole commotion and kind of smiles as he says, sort of smoking his
He's
little
just
pipe
been
weed.
sitting there with his fucking donkey.
Yeah, right. Just, ooh, you lads are good with weapons and swords and whatnot.
Torn looking down at his absolute lack of weapons.
I have
Spells.
keys. Ngang, 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 ngang.
Yep. Big, toothy grins.
Snap, 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 snap.
The Hokey just gets...
He's just gonna take the compliment.
Well, thank you. Yes, I believe we can leave. I'm kind of looking at the guards to see if they're like.
One of the town's guards kind of like looks at you and says, yeah, you guys can go, but don't leave town because we're gonna find you and question you, maybe.
Maybe.
We're headed into town, so
Oh.
we should be around.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Please don't leave town.
Again, we're headed into town.
Okay.
So exact opposite.
He kind of nods and sort of steps to the side, even though he's not in your way.
Okay, I'm just gonna give him a thumbs up and head back over to the caravan. And...
Excuse me, sir.
Pahokee points vaguely in the direction of the cake town.
How are you gonna find us in there?
He also kind of like looks over at you. There's a bit of a tree line that kind of covers like sort of Lowtown, but you guys can see just the side of like the sort of platforms that make up Dragon's Meat, which is kind of like, think of it like a Minas Tirith kind of style city. He just he kind of sighs and says, "Please, just don't leave town."
Pahokee just kind of does this and walks away.
Thaddeus kind of hops back up on the caravan. Everyone starts to pile in. The dwarf is assisted by the two orcs as they kind of get him back into the back there, and then you guys continue down onto the path. You guys hit a small forested area, and they kind of part almost like curtains, revealing the rest of the city. Now you guys can spot Lowtown. So basically, you guys want me to read the description? I'm going to reread the description. Let's go back to it. Let me see if I...
Do it.
It's not a great one because I kind of improv the bottom.
I'm gonna get a drink while you do that.
Changing things
I understand this.
because I don't know how to not. So as you descend the foothills downward, the trees part before you like curtains, revealing the port city of Dragonsmead. The Great Docks, starting at the water level, the Great Docks stretch outward into the ocean like some sort of wooden watery road as several boats lay harbored in a sort of tangle that is like the massive docks below. Several different banners and several different ships of varying sizes can be spotted. You also, even though you're so far away, you can still spot that even like throughout the day, like people seem to be loading, unloading from vessels. It's a huge trade hub. But eventually the docks lead to what is called the Dragon's Hoard, or Market Town, the main sprawl of Dragon's Meat. This is a massive city front where pretty much most people kind of live on this level. There are two walls flanking Market Town, one called the West Claw Gate, and the East Claw Gate. From the West Claw Gate sprawls out a shanty town of sorts, a large collection of...
Is that like this right now?
so that area
this is like the market?
So that's Market Town, or
Okay.
the Dragon's Hoard as it's officially known.
Gotcha. So where that kind of tent
Yeah.
is down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then it stretches out to Lowtown, which is just called Lowtown, or the Dragon's Nails, as a slang for the locals. Every district and area is named after some sort of draconic aspect.
Okay.
Let's just assume that Thaddeus is kind of like saying this to
He's
you guys.
letting us know,
Torrin, as a Dragonborn, you find it very amusing that everything seems to be themed after dragons, and all that. Yeah. So Lowtown, he kind of mentioned that Lowtown's kind of where the guild, where the society is.
Okay.
But basically, a large shantytown stretches outward past the city gates and just kind of falls into the foothills and kind of like levels up. So you find that the farms are in the actual mountainous foothills, but then below it is kind of where Lowtown begins. And he does mention that there's south of Lowtown is what is called the Dead Docks. Once an expansion to the Great Docks, after a terrible flood, the city lost the funding and had to abandon the expansion project, leaving it to kind of like scoundrels and brigands to take over.
Is that kind of those like black buildings?
Yeah, you see those darker buildings. That's
Oh,
so
okay.
that's the Dead Docks.
That's the Dead Docks.
Yeah, that's kind of like sort of a gang ruled sort
Tortuga.
of yeah, basically.
Gotcha.
The platform up is the dwarven district called the Stoneworks. The dwarves actually built the platforms, and in doing so, traded basically the dragon's meat traded the rights to mine the mountain to the dwarves, so that the dwarves would build the entire city, which they had done. And so now the second platform belongs to them, where it's kind of a two-tier platform. So it's outside is basically the dwarven markets and the dwarven workshops. And even from this distance, you guys can kind of hear the sort of the rhythmic clanging of like anvil strikings, the smell of the smoke bellowing, and you can kind of see like workshops constantly in Wars. You can't see it from your angle, but you guys, I'm just gonna kind of explain it to you. There's a large, massive mine that was once was once called the Dragon's Meat Great Mine. That once it was hollowed out, became the inner dwarf district. So inside, the dwarves also live inside the mountain. The tier above it is called the Towers Villa. It's called this because in
Towers?
The tower, several towers jut upward at the Towers Villa, but it's also called that because in several fanciful fairy tales, dragons would kidnap royals
Fair
and
maidens and
store them in towers, and so the Towers Villa represents that.
Sorry, I just feel like that would be Tora's reaction. Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, you're like, oh, you've heard of such fairy tales, but you've never heard of real accounts.
But I think they're funny. Yeah. Like, oh, that's hilarious.
That's cute. Oh my gosh.
It's like when you go to like that weird Denmark town north of Santa Barbara, but instead of
Solvang?
Solvang,
Yeah.
Solvang, but instead of windmills, it's like dragon stuff.
Exactly that.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, I still want to go out there because
I know we were gonna take you to Solvang and everything.
Because I've actually been to the Netherlands before.
It's nothing like that.
I like that. Oh, that's great. It'll be nothing like that.
To be fair, it was settled by
That is a pecan.
It was settled by the Danes.
By the Danes. So there's definitely
Oh, it's
elements.
Danish.
Yeah, it's Danish. It's not
No.
Norwegian. Yeah.
Not
Netherlands.
Dutch.
Dutch. That's what it is. Yeah, I said yeah. Sorry. Dutch. But the Towers Villa basically belongs to the noble houses of
Brazilian.
Dragon's Meat, as well as where the embassy district is
Those are really hard
and
to crack, just
the
so you know.
church district. So a lot of churches are up there. However, there's one thing to note. There's a massive church on the seafloor level, that lighthouse in the bottom right.
Yeah.
That is the Church of Widra, which is the biggest church in Dragon's Meat. It's the Church of the Ocean Goddess.
Okay.
So,
the lighthouse down
yeah,
there.
it's a giant lighthouse temple, basically. Which you guys can't spot from where you are, because it is a huge tower that is emanating bright light even midday.
Yeah.
Like, it is constantly on.
Because it's a lighthouse.
Yes, it's a huge lighthouse. What you do know, what some of you guys have heard from Thaddeus is that many of the noble families that have settled in Dragon's Meat are actually retired adventurers. A majority of them are very much retired adventurers that have come back from their spoils of years of adventuring, dungeon diving, and all that, and been invested in these like villas, and then invested in the companies that run the several layers of Dragon's Meat.
Very much the self-made millionaire village.
Yeah. A few of them are from old money from other regions, but they're not as common in Dragon's Meat. At the peak of Dragon's Meat is the original structure of the Dragon's Meat Fortress, built 1,000 years ago, but then abandoned by the humans that built it. It was rediscovered by the Ordanians, which is a nation in the north, and settled to expand the Ordanian Empire. But after the collapse of the Ordanian Empire, they abandoned most of their outward settlements, leaving an entire garrison to fend for themselves out here. The garrison eventually commissioned the dwarves to build it into a city as people began to flock to the coastline from its just centralized location.
Yeah.
And so it grew into a giant metropolis.
Gotcha.
So, at the peak is the Parliament building now, a new fortress that's much smaller, and a university. So Dragon's Meat University is all up in the top of the mountain peak.
Where'd you go? DMU?
DMU! I didn't even intend for that.
I love it. It's like DMU. Oh yeah.
there it
Did you
is.
transfer it from DMCC?
Little known fact about Boom, he's actually very good at history. And you can tell when he writes stuff like this.
We'll see. I can give you all the dates, but that would just be sickening.
Especially because they're made up dates.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Alright.
Time means nothing.
Pahuki tugs upon our dwarven friend and is like,
Okay, that's all really cool. Why do you make a city shaped like a cake? Because that's a cake.
He kind of thinks about dragon's meat. The dwarf thinks about dragon's meat for a moment. Says, dwarven design is very much designed like the foundations of a good cake. You big foundations, a small foundation. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a thunder dwarf. Thunder dwarves are not known for their... Thunder dwarves are strange kind of dwarves. They're sort of the adventuring dwarves. They're the dwarves that'll jump into a fight just to punch the fight. But it's the forged dwarves that build things.
see, Pahuki's just nodding around 100%.
Pahuki and Torin would just be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's like,
They're like,
smaller and smaller, and they build on the foundation, and the top is...
He's the only one who knows better.
right? He's just sitting there like, I want to hear. She's not stopping them because she wants to hear it.
Yeah. He poorly explains what a cake is.
Pahuki.
He's going to punch the fight, guys.
Yeah,
He's going to punch the.
I mean, yes.
that's a thunder dwarf.
Well, yeah,
punch
it's
the fight.
Punch the
Yeah, I'll
fight.
be right back.
Well, it's like that one Tumblr bro says, now you're on a solemn quest to punch God in the face.
Yeah, I actually have to pee really quick too. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Let's take a quick bathroom break because I do need to pee. I actually needed to pee at the beginning, but I just didn't.
Yeah. By the way, what was the name of the tavern that we're supposed to meet old guy at?
So he says to meet him at 2 taverns.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. So,
Okay,
yeah.
but it's 2 separate taverns, not a tavern called 2 taverns.
Oh no, it's a tavern called 2 taverns.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a quick bathroom break. I'm gonna pee too. Oh, I hope it's quick. What's this? Oh yeah. Oh shit. Oh no, it's...
Stop scratching your head. Gonna make it worse.
I know. I'm a scat picker.
I know, me too. I'm like, I'm one to talk. I do that.
Well,
too.
and also I fidget, and that's the thing that's
You're like, that's what I have to fidget right now.
But yeah, no, I
Kind of
need-
one of the reasons why I just keep eating all these.
yeah,
Cause nuts.
they are very good. I like the nuts. My favorite are the Brazil nuts and the walnuts.
Yeah, I like almonds.
Almonds. I think almonds are my least favorite of the stuff that comes in that kind of bag, but I like almonds. But I will pretty much always pick out the walnuts and Brazil nuts first. Pecans are good too, but that's some nut cracking ASMR here.
Ooh, I like nuts.
I pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, here, let's get the bowl underneath and put some nuts in it.
Pants.
Yes, we also have another nutcracker in the kitchen.
Nut pluckers.
Yes, Mom sent me a new thing that was in the care package.
Wonderful.
Alright. I'm
Inside
gonna take
the
this
bag
guy.
over
I
here.
forgot what these are called, but I liked them as a child.
Oh, that is a Brazil nut.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorites too.
I really like the hazelnuts and the almonds.
Sorry, I had to.
Serrata, we all know you like these nuts.
These nuts!
These nuts.
Sorry. Hang on.
Watch out, Emmy. There you go.
I like breaking nuts. That's what it is.
Busting nuts. There you go.
Yeah.
Bustin'
All right,
nuts.
that's it.
That's the whole point. Yeah, I always go for the hazelnuts and the almonds because I like hazelnuts and almonds.
That's good. I'm glad too, because the almonds are like, I'll be done with it, and there'll just be a shit
Just
ton of almonds left.
yeah.
Because I like almonds, but not enough to just keep eating.
Don't like
Don't like.
the nuts.
That's more accurate.
Oh, okay, so we're all back now?
Yes.
Alright.
We're back.
So, the caravan starts to part into an area that looks like it's starting to become populated. So you guys are at that little edge of the map.
Okay.
Kinda
As
up
you
by
guys
that little
enter,
cusp
you
of
guys
trees.
you guys see the sort of... Oh, what are these? Nuts?
That's half a Brazil nut.
Oh. I got a nut. Hang on, I'm gonna eat this nut real quick. Mmm.
This gives us while we crunch nuts.
But the path actually becomes almost like a real road as you start to see more and more travelers sort of wandering back and forth. The first set of kind of almost like the shanty town that is Lowtown have started to spring up in front of you. Several buildings sit bunched together in a tight formations, in a bit of a messy sort of congregation. But you do spot several little markets here and there. And as Thaddeus sort of approaches it, you spot... Oh, excuse me. It's hard to talk with
have
nuts.
a drink.
Yeah.
It's
I know.
Hard to talk with nuts in your mouth.
Hey!
We're gonna
I
get
did
in
the
trouble
fun
on Twitch,
point.
guys.
But Thaddeus seems to have spotted the stables that he's going to be swinging by.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, it even has the River Home Family Ranch symbol above it. And he
Okay.
kind of leads
Those
the
are the
camera.
people we were just at,
Yeah,
right?
that we were just
Okay.
at, yeah.
No.
A friendly face, a friendly stable hand kind of waves you all in, and then Thaddeus kind of brings his donkey over and sort of hops out, just leading the donkey towards the stable hand.
You lost, right?
Hmm?
You lost the donkey. I wrote it down because he's a sturdy fucking donkey.
Yes, he's the best donkey.
He's
The
the best.
one that disappeared. And
He
then
is
came
not a
back.
normal
Came
donkey.
back, yeah.
Too powerful.
Thaddeus hops down and kind of pats the side of the caravan. Oh, did you cut yourself?
No, I scratched myself on the
Oh,
binder.
oh.
I'm fine.
Okay. And to sort of signal that you guys have arrived in Lowtown. The two orcs sort of hop out with Darkoff, and they kind of look around, and they got Dicron kind of turns to you and says, "Listen, we've got a little bit of business to tend to. An old contact of ours said he had some information for us, so we're gonna wander over there. But tell you what, if you all need us, we should be around." I don't know. He kind of looks around. His brother Castro says, 2 taverns. We'll hang out at 2 taverns. That was the place we're gonna meet somebody, right?
Did I share that information?
I don't think you did. So
Sorry,
that might have been
they
an
say
accident.
2 taverns, and Torrance first thought is, wait, which tavern?
2 taverns. It's called 2 taverns.
We have to go to both.
Gotcha.
Lauren.
Okay.
No. It's a location that's called 2 taverns. It's a famous adventuring haunt. Easy to find lots of lost people there.
Is it like a coffee shop? So there's one in one corner and then right across the way there's another one? I've seen them before.
He kind of nods.
Star
Star.
Gobble. I don't know, Goblin Establishment.
Goblin Star. It's
Oh, I know that one. It's got the topless dwarf on the yeah.
God damn it! Star Goblin has a topless dwarf as a symbol. Is that our new canon?
A really buxom one. It's a buxom dwarf with big titties and a beard.
Split like this, you know?
Yeah, to a
Oh
beard.
my god.
Big bushy beard.
Maya, you have to draw it now.
Okay.
Star.
I'm writing this out.
Star
Goblin's Coffee Company. We're adding it to the canon. God damn.
Oh man. Okay. So they want. Okay.
So we're yeah.
two taverns. You
2
guys
taverns.
will. So
Yeah.
you guys will probably be there later.
Yeah.
I
taverns.
have no idea what we're doing, but we're doing something, and we'll meet you guys there later.
Kind of nods as, I'll see you guys. Be sure to don't take too long with us though. He kind of gives you a thumbs up or whatever.
Be safe. Don't accept any more cursed rubies.
The dwarf really goes, money's money.
Good luck with the brother.
They sort of lead, the 3 of them sort of wander off into the sort of the mess of the shanty town in front of you. Like I said, tons of buildings tightly strewn together. There's mostly dirt road, although you do see that eventually that dirt road becomes paved road, but it kind of clashes immediately. Clearly Lowtown was not complete before it was populated. And almost out of necessity though,
Yeah.
basically. The growing population just spilled outward.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Thaddeus, starts to he exchanges some coinage with the stable hand and kind of turns to you all and says, "All right, we can make the rest of our way on foot. You're here to meet the society, right?"
Right.
All right.
That is indeed what we are supposed to do.
All right. I
V's
can show you
also-
a few of the sites as we walk by too.
V's gonna try and keep an eye out for the smithy owned by the one dwarf's cousin
Oh, yes.
because I have that little thing.
So, so you know that that's in the Stoneworks, so that's one tier up.
Oh, okay,
from
so
where
we're
you
not
are.
gonna be passing by it yet.
Yeah, not yet. Unless you guys want to immediately.
No.
I'm gonna say it's like maybe 2 in the morning ish. So there's plenty of daylight.
Oh,
It's midday.
shit, really?
Yeah. Or 2 p.m. Sorry.
Oh,
Two
I was like
afternoon.
2 in the morning.
Yeah,
Holy
no,
shit.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, got it.
We did all that shit in the dark.
Yeah, no,
Why
no.
is everybody awake? Got it. Okay.
It's just, I'll lead you to a few of the highlights of
Yeah.
Lowtown. It's known for its night markets and wild shopping sprees. The Dragon's Hoard's where you buy legitimate things, but out in the Lowtown, that's when the cheap and ready's at the waiting. He kind of claps his hand a little bit.
So
you get a lot of fun
it's gonna
stuff.
be like one of those like knockoff alleys where it's just everything's
It's
like
just fucking Santee
yeah,
Alley.
it's like
Yeah,
Santee Alley,
Santee
that
Alley.
city.
And V's just like, oh yes.
As you guys start to step towards the town proper, you do note that there are several vendors about. Lots of people with just claws on the ground selling whatever trinkets and knickknacks they have, and several pieces of like diverse backgrounds all over the place. There's
The hookie's
orcs,
gonna
humans,
keep an eye out
dwarves,
in the
elves.
alleys and on the roofs.
You, unfortunately, you don't see a lot of Dragonborn, but you do spot 1 or 2 of them kind of like wandering about. Like,
Ooh, what color?
yeah. There's a green Dragonborn, and then there's a kind of a red one, but you're not sort of sure because he's sort of like in the distance and kind of has a little hood on, but like he's looking at some wares, and as he points, you see his red scales kind of glistening in his hand.
Are they like Tauren sized?
Yeah, they're
They're all
very
very
larger. They stick out behind the crowd.
they
They're
bigger
almost
than
like a
you?
head taller than most people.
Okay.
So you can kind of spot
but,
them.
Okay, so I'm like, sorry.
Are they my height or taller?
Because
The
Tauren's...
red one's a little bit taller than you, but the green one is, I would say, shorter.
About my height. Okay.
Yeah.
So, in V's head, she was just like, oh yeah, average.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
this is the
Yeah,
only frame of
mathematically,
reference.
right?
No, she was like, oh yeah. Just more of the...
Right in the middle.
Okay, as we're going through the different stands and stuff, I don't know, I'm looking for anything shiny.
Anything shiny. Okay, so as that thought kind of crosses your mind, you hear Emil sort of
just
flying
realized
overhead,
that-
just
what the
going
fuck
like,
is Cobbin
lots
doing?"
of shiny. Lots of shiny. Like, you see that a lot of the stands seem to sell sort of makeshift jewelry and sort of like trinkets and knickknacks. A lot of them also sell like potions. Some people sell scrolls and stuff like that. And you guys note that as you guys are wandering through, first off, the aroma is very interesting. It's a mix of like street food and the ocean air kind of like coolly breezing through. So it's sort of like a briny smell mixed with like fried foods and like baked goods and even like sweets and stuff like that. Just filling exploding your senses.
I
with
wanna
all
find a baked
sorts of
good
things. Yeah, you find like a little dwarf man kind of like peddling his muffins. He's like, "Come eat the finest muffins ever made this side of Ragnar."
Okay.
Says, "Oh, you're a tall one."
Okay.
He
What do you
kinda-
got?
He hands you he grabs like and says, "You want the specialty then? This is a
What's the
rock
specialty?
flour muffin, one of the best delights in all the Forgelands.
Rock flower?
Rock flour, yes. It's sort of a savory sweet muffin,
It's
made for
definitely
dwarven sensibilities
concrete.
and a dwarven palate." He kind of points to his like wide.
Can you enjoy it
tongue
if you don't have a dwarven palate?
Oh, of course! How do you think I sell so many? He points to this cart, which is all full.
You know what? Sure, I'll try one.
All right, for you, 1 copper.
Perfect. Cool. I will give him a copper.
Takes the coin, kind of nibbles on it a little bit, and smiles and puts it into his pouch.
Hey, I'm gonna run off with my muffin.
The muffin is actually rather sizable. It's like a kind of a dense
Whoa.
muffin. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh.
I'm gonna take a bite.
It.
You take a bite. It's a nice, like there's a slight saltiness to it, but it's mostly just a sweet, nice muffin.
Doesn't taste anything like concrete at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, rock flour doesn't sound good, but it's surprisingly tasty.
You explain it to the other two. They're like, okay.
Did you guys want some?
V will take a little piece of it.
Yeah.
Break
Yeah.
off little bits.
I hope
Ka,
he's starting
Ka
to
takes
get
a
a
chunk
little,
of that.
a little
Oh, yeah,
more
so I was like, what's
excited.
Just hold one up and he'll
doing?
just swoop
Yeah.
by and
Ka
grab
is
it out of my
kinda-
hand.
Ka is sort of doing kobold things in the sense that Ka is kind of like darting around. You get the sense that kobolds are used to like being unnoticed in large crowds,
Gotcha.
but still being helpful.
I'm gonna hold the chunk up for Emil and let him just kind of swoop
Emil
by
sort
and
of
grab it.
dives by, and as Emil dives by, you know that Emil has picked up a few baubles. You're like,
Did
"Wait
you
a
pay for those?
Tell it all.
Emil responds with finders keepers.
No, get over here. Come here.
Emil circles one extra time before swooping down.
On the horn, mister.
Emil lands, and you sense sort of a little grumpiness to it.
I'll let you keep what you have, but we're not stealing shit.
Emil's like, kind of flutters
Your
up
huffy
in,
bird
yeah,
just, like, puffs
kinda gives
up
it
at
a
me.
huff and says,
Where are these baubles that he was carrying?
you see that there's a ring on Emil's like a claw, and then in his mouth is a small like what looks like a golden sort of like a pearl set in a little golden clasp.
Give it.
He drops the pearl, but the ring stays on his foot, and he like almost pretends like the ring's not there. He kind of flutters around. In fact, kind of even gets comfortable and sort of like kneels down a little bit, trying to use his belly feathers to cover his feet.
Fine. I have stolen jewelry now. Cool.
Don't worry.
Just gonna stick it in my bag and hope nobody noticed.
Yeah, you kind of go, you nervous. You're like, ah. You sort
I
of
don't know
look
where he
up
got
and-
it.
You look around, and there are 100 different people he could have gotten it from.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stick
Yeah.
it in the bag and just hope nobody notices and just be like, you stay there. We're not here to be thieves.
Emil kind of like kind of caws a little bit. And sort of
Gives a grumpy little
as he kind of caws at you, you hear the cawing of other crows, almost as if kind of jokingly laughing at him. Like they go caw, caw, caw.
Look bad in front of his new friend.
If
the
a
worst
crow could go pink,
Dad, you're
he
so
kind of does. He's
embarrassing.
like, he settles. He stays on your horn, but he kind of like shifts a little bit.
Oh, come on. You can do magic. They can't do that. I'm in an argument with my crow.
Right, well, V's just seeing this like that. We're not stealing stuff.
What?
just look.
Yeah.
So like she'll look up and see that you drop it. It drops something shiny into Doran's hand, and V's like,
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
she's just like giggling.
Just be cool, guys.
So what is it that he had? Was it just like?
It's just like a little pearl.
Yeah, it's like a pearl inlaid on like a little golden like hasp. It looks like it was a part of something, maybe like a button, like a fancy button or a
So I have
fancy
like
lapel button.
So I have like a fancy pearl button.
Yeah, I would say fancy pearl button.
Okay.
And then a golden ring is still on
And
his
a
foot.
golden ring. Okay.
V's gonna
bracelet.
discreetly think about making him a little tiny necklace out of it.
Oh, that's cute.
Not while they're walking around, but maybe
Yeah.
later she might make him a little snazzy necklace.
As Thaddeus is kind of rolling around, he points towards like one of the north market, kind of towards the north a little bit. And there's several stalls and whatnot. It's like basically wooden stalls with a little like canopy things. Just that's Farmer's Dirt Market. You're gonna get the freshest vegetables and fruits and whatnot from there. And they're very well known, direct from the farms too. The Foothill Farms feeds the entire city, so it's very respectable there. He passed. You guys sort of follow the path a little bit, and as you guys enter more into Lowtown, you see more adventure types. People kind of wearing like swords and like backpacks full of gear, very much like camper. Like they're very much adventurers.
So we're going the right way.
You also know there's a few people in like fancier clothing, some elves in some elegant dresses, sort of like being guided by like sort of shadier looking folk as they kind of show them around town.
So we're
a
going
little
the
bit.
wrong way.
But as you
probably getting fleeced for the nickel tour.
yeah, exactly. Like paying a gold for the silver tour kind of thing. But then Pahokee, out of just jutting above a little lip in the Lowtown area is a small forested area that is kind of that is overshadowed by a large willow tree whose leaves are kind of like sprinkled downward. Glimpses of shiny light can be sparkling through there, and you feel a weird connection to that tree.
Mama Doki said that there were things here.
Yeah. You guys all note the large like willow tree as it's kind of like sprung out in front to it, and Thaddeus notices your gazes. That's Mother Tree Market, specialty from the Druids in this region. They run their own little fanciful herb market. Find all sorts of strange, fey wild goods there. But entry requires But entry requires a little finesse.
Pahokee wants to roll sniff perception.
Okay,
Ah!
I'll let you make a sniff perception.
16.
Use your wisdom modifier.
It is +4.
Okay. What are you trying
And
to
then
discern
I
with
am
sniff?
That's a
I'm
20.
sniffing for other Nafan.
Oh.
Because it's a city, and I know.
Yeah.
And Mama Doki said that other Nafan were sometimes in cities and used them the same way that you use forests and swamps, even though it doesn't make sense. But I believe Mama Doki.
Suddenly, Pahokee kind of like darts forward a little bit, and you hear you see the bush kind of shudder as it's like sniffing. It's like, and sure enough, several Nafan can be spotted sort of towards the Mother Tree Market. But there's two kinds of Nafan you spot. You find other Nafan kind of in similar ghillie suits to yours,
Yes.
but then you also see what are called naked Nafan. Just normal little Nafan, which look to be like small, short, halfling-sized satyrs, basically. They're basically just satyrs, but halfling-sized. And this might be the first time that you guys have seen it.
Yeah,
what they call a naked
look at
Nafan.
So looking at those, and then the ghillie suits, and then Pahokee.
Tori's gonna look over at me and go, "Oh my god, she's normal."
Yeah. Several of them are like wandering around.
Maybe.
Oh,
The horns track.
Yeah, but the other ones are...
Several
We're
of
just,
them
like,
have
muttering about
five different styles of horns all over the
Yeah,
place.
but like, but the other ones have the same puff.
Same ghillie suit.
Is it a suit or is it their fur?
Well, I thought it was their fur, but there's some without it, so maybe it's a suit.
Well, maybe there's more than one species.
We're just like discussing as we were like behind Pokey.
You're excited to see more Nafan. You're not used to seeing as many naked Nafan, but you know that's what a Nafan looks like.
Okay, guys, so they're all the same, but they're all the same creature.
Yeah, it's all the same creature.
So that is more or less what Pahokee looks like underneath it, but yeah.
To give you guys a general summary, Pahokee is a Fey wanderer Nafan, and most Nafan are actually just normal Nafan.
Okay.
But she's like a Fey wanderer sort of type.
Hee
But the
I
ghillie-
came from the swamps.
Yeah, but either way, it's like, yeah, perhaps that's it. She does have hooves.
It's like a tagline of a new D&D game.
What?
I cracked open a fortune cookie and it says, "New challenges and adventures await."
There we go. As he approaches, you guys see that the main sprawl where like the dirt road becomes stonework, the unworked stone, is a much more dense area. You guys are kind of like in the more sprucely populated area, but Thaddeus kind of points down there and says, "And that's the famous, what they call West Claw Sprawl. It's where most people who live in the city proper feel as comfortable enough to go into Lowtown, Not the best reputation. But it's friendly enough, except if you go too far south." He points downward, you see a series of sort of dilapidated buildings, a broken down lighthouse, and several other, like, ruined docks. He says, "That's the dead docks. Brigands seem to live there. I'd avoid it if I were you, or unless you're, rearing for a fight of some sort." He kind of chuckles and says, "Most people avoid that area." "Well, come on, we're heading upward." He leads you towards what is called what he pointed out to be the farmer's dirt market earlier, and says, "There's going to be a small path just past the farmer's dirt market. It's going to lead up the hills a little bit, and then you should find a small manor. That's where your lads are going to be." He says, "But for me," he kind of chuckles a little bit, sort of like pulling a pouch of gold from his side. Like, there's a few coins in there. He says, "I'm going to grab a few drinks down in the West Claw Sprawl." He kind of chucks along and says, "If you need me,
Wait, where are we going?
just past Farmer's Dirt Market. Good luck."
He gave us directions to the guild.
Okay, but I get that, but what are we even looking for? Is there a sign? Is there a...
Well, why
Do we know what the
would
building
we be
looks like,
signed?
or-
It seems like everything around here makes perfect sense and is wonderfully laid
I
out.
feel like we'll know it when we see it.
Okay.
Pokey begins walking in the
Because
vague
out of all of
direction
us, I'm the
Jeff
only one that's been
goes.
to, like, a city before.
Yeah. And even then, like, I would say that you're more familiar with, like, outer Lowtown. That's kind of what Nashen sort of is. It's like a sort of a smattering of huts and buildings and treetop villas. But nothing so densely populated as you go further in.
Yeah, but more of these, I know what a city's like.
I know what
It's
these
just
are
a
like.
concentrated one.
You just spot. So you spot the farmer's dirt market up north a bit, and theoretically there is going to be a side path, according to Thaddeus, as he sort of jaunts off and kind of waves to you guys.
I'm gonna I don't know. Eat whatever snacks I bought and
Yeah.
follow V.
As you finish the muffin, you realize how hearty it is, because it is like a full meal, and you're kind of like, oh, like, oh.
Oh, guess I don't have to get lunch now.
You
One
guys,
copper too. How is he not sold out? Okay, sorry.
I should have got one. You guys start making your way
thing.
towards the farmer's dirt market, and sure enough, the sort of the smell of the fresh produce and the lovely scent of all the different fruits and whatnot kind of like levitates towards you.
Good, important.
The green dragonborn you spotted earlier, you can spot manning a stall at the farmer's dirt market. They sort of like a lot of the farmers there sort of like are waving down customers, trying to get them to kind of like come over, see the produce. They're sort of not like heckling people, but kind of like going like, come on,
Like
check out
the booth callers.
yeah, exactly. They're sort of waving them on. Some of them like have big bright smiles, and sure enough, like there's all variety of folk, like very poor-looking people kind of dress up in rags, sort of like trading with whatever fruits they can get, and then even very rich people that you notice are dropping more coins than other people to get the same amount of product from certain stalls.
Hey,
But,
they're
you know,
doing business.
Yeah,
What's up?
business is happening.
Can I? I'm just kind of curious because you said there's like. Can I look around and see if there is any like stalls or anything that look like they might be particularly struggling?
Oh, yeah, make a. I'm gonna say make an insight check.
Make an insight.
Yeah.
That's between.
Oh yeah, it's a cocked. We'll re-roll that one.
Did it re-roll shitty?
Well, I rolled a 2, so that's a 7.
7.
It's a big old 7.
All right, you're feeling a little bit more confident. No one's bugged you. You almost fit in. You are a little bit taller, and having seen a few other Dragonborn, you're like, you know what? Every step, And you kind of look around and you see a stall that's selling like cabbages. Oh god.
Cabbage guy!
Okay, that was unintentional.
Okay, I love that. As soon as you said it, you were like, oh
The
no.
immediate
Yeah.
regret on that one.
Yeah.
You're like, no, we have
I didn't want to like push the
Wrong.
reference.
You're like, oh no, no, we have to destroy his stall.
You see a cabbage guy, and it's run by an elvish fellow, and he kind of like, you think he's struggling. He's got a lot of cabbages all around his stall.
Okay.
And he's kind of sitting there, sort of nervous, like he's sort of sitting down. He's not, unlike anybody else, he's not standing up, like bringing people in. He's just kind of sitting there nervously, kind of like on a little stool behind the stall.
Oh.
Okay.
He looks like the one who's struggling to you.
Much resembling a cabbage, Pokey's very interested in the cabbages, and now hungry because didn't get a muffin because it seemed suspicious, and now very much wants food. I'm gonna go talk to the cabbage guy.
You, having
Hello,
inadvertently sort of
sir.
pointed it out,
I guess I will follow
Pahokee trots
Pahokee over.
The elvish fellow kind of like looks up over his cabbages and says, "Yes, who's speaking?"
Explosion!
Oh, yeah.
We had a nut explode.
There's a shard over
Not
here.
exploded.
What was it? Was that a hazelnut?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
they
sort
tend
of-
to
They tend to
burst.
burst.
Just sort of went.
I barely went boop, and then all of a sudden there wasn't a nut in my hands anymore. I'm like,
It's gone now.
Slippery little bastards.
yeah, okay.
All right.
Sorry
Can I
about
get
that.
the crackers?
No.
No! Here.
Okay. So we're going over to Cabbage Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's speaking? He kind of,
Hello.
he sees hello.
Down here, sir.
Kind of stands
I kind
up.
of point.
Oh,
I am not
Ah.
a cabbage.
friendly Dafan.
Oh,
What is your business here?
I see that you have many cabbages, and I assume this is a place in which people sell items of food. And these cabbages look like they're pretty good. I would like a cabbage, sir.
You're right on most accounts, but no,
Oh.
these are display cabbages.
Oh. You're not displaying them very well.
Kind of frowns a little bit and says, "That's the problem. No one wants to buy a display cabbage. They just want to eat the cabbage, when really, they should be displayed."
Oh, you don't want people to eat these cabbages. They are pristine.
Orin's beginning to understand why this guy might look like he's struggling.
Veek's just been hanging back a little, like she's watching this happen.
I will sell you a cabbage if you promise not to eat it.
How big are the cabbages?
They're pretty
Comparatively.
sizable. They're actually about 15% larger than a standard cabbage.
Like if
and
Pahokee
you
were to
know-
hold a cabbage, would it look more like a basketball to Pahokee or
here.
like a beach ball?
No.
Like a beach
No,
ball
that's
almost.
the opposite.
Oh. It really look like a little bit of a beach ball
Come here,
for you.
baby.
They are larger, like I said, about 15%, but like pretty sizable.
Alright, I'll be like,
Come here.
Bring me your most pristine display cabbage, sir.
You want the premium then?
Yeah.
He kind of rolls over to the left side of his stall, and kind of you see that there's a cloth covering one of the larger cabbages. He says, "Get ready, little Muffin, for your fey eyes might burst." He reveals a magnificent-looking large cabbage, to the point where a lot of people have turned their gaze and are like, "Oh, damn!" A few people, like a small crowd, starts to kind of like wander over. And you see the man like holding the cabbage very proudly, but he sees the rest of you and says, Back all of you! Come to eat my cabbage!
It is truly a magnificent display cabbage, sir.
70 gold will get you
Holy shit.
I have
this magnificent cabbage. Yes?
some wonderful wooden currency that you might be interested. Now, before you say no, it is display currency, which means that it's much better than regular currency. So you can give me this cabbage, and then you can take this wooden fey display currency and place it up, and it should bring you, I don't know, luck or customers. They'll know it's for display better.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, this is
And I'm
beautiful.
gonna give you advantage on this.
Pahokee is Pahokee knows how to play.
I love it.
Pahokee rolled a 1.
Advantage. You have advantage.
Roll again.
Pahokee rolled a 3.
So you have like a...
This is
Into
not
the
a
dice jail.
Well, you know what's been lucky for me? Just
Wow,
grab
it
a
rolled a 1
random.
on dice jail too.
Oh,
Wow.
God, hand me the golden dice.
Into dice jail.
Into dice jail.
Here, I'll put my cauldron here. What's been working for me is pulling random dice out has been working.
The man looks at you for a moment. His eyes sort of narrow a little bit, and then he puts the silk cloth back on the cabbage and actually picks it up and keeps it and cradles it in his lap as he sits back down and says, "You're banned from my cabbage stall."
Well, sir, you're missing out on a wonderful opportunity. Stuffs coins back in the pouch. Huffs away.
Tor just kind of turns around and walks the other direction.
Okay, V's just she's witnessed this whole thing, but she wasn't involved. She stayed back a little bit because she was like, I want to see how this plays out. She's a little disappointed that Pahoke's thing didn't work.
Yeah.
She was really
For a moment, you were sure that it was going to.
yeah, for a moment here, I was just like, oh.
Pahokee has Pahokee luck. You never know.
Right? But so she's looking around, and what's the green dragonborn selling?
Oh, the
was
Green
gonna be my
Dragonborn
next
stall has a lovely little sign above it. It seems like it was hand painted, so it's kind of got sort of an amateurish charm,
Yeah.
if you will. Let me pull them up. Sorry, I have. Okay.
cabbages?
Makes sense to me, but I'm still gonna eat it.
you see the sign written in common in sort of like a not. This is not a.
He's not a calligrapher.
Yeah, they're not a calligrapher, but it says Drake Shorn's famous vegetable soup, and a large cauldron can be seen bubbling with a really sort of a delicious savory vegetable like broth kind of like emanating from it. The Dragonborn is handing out little like cups to people as they come by. A small line is actually formed in front of their stall, and they kind of like smile as they people. Like, there's a system. People just put coins in a little, like, wooden basket and then just get in line with a little wooden cup. And then she ladles in one, and then they kind of move on.
it's a
And then
lady.
Yeah. So, it just says, Drac Shorn's vegetable soup.
Drac Shorn. I wrote Drac Thorn for some reason.
Well,
Yeah.
that doesn't look like display soup. I'm going over there.
I'm getting in line.
You hop into line. The little sign under it's like 3 copper. Or 2 copper. It's 2 copper, sorry. For a little soup.
Alright,
V is interested. V is like, soup is good.
Tossing it in the basket.
Yeah. I will join in the soup line.
Do you want to join them? You're full, but
I'll stand
it's
with
also
them.
okay. It's also very tempting to just speak with another dragonborn.
Yeah, I was
V's
like,
just
I'll
like-
get in the line, but I'm not.
Yeah, V's
gonna
just
get to-
excited to speak Draconic, even though she could speak Draconic to Torn any time. But they just haven't
I
been.
speak Draconic!
But they just haven't been.
You could ask.
More. She's just excited to talk to a person that she hasn't met.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there.
So
Okay.
you guys pay
Copper.
up, right?
You
Yes.
said 2 copper or 3 copper?
2 copper.
Two
It's 2
copper.
copper. I actually wrote down 3 copper, but I adjusted the prices earlier because I read a thing about what food should cost.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we'll get in line for the soup.
Yeah.
Vegetable soup sounds good.
As you follow what the people in the line are doing. You grab a little wooden bowl, and as you get up there, like I'll say that you're in front. She kind of smiles brightly and kind of like ladles in a little bit of soup and says, "Oh, you're new around here. Welcome, welcome. I can kind of tell, right? I'm not crazy." You see, she's a bright, smiley, dragonborn woman. She's got, instead of horns, she almost has like little antlers kind of sticking out, but they're kind of like little tiny ones. One of them
Aw.
splits off into like about 3 directions, but the other one's like kind of a straight one.
Aw.
She's not muscular and she's not built very well, but you notice that she has a really thick tail, like a very strong. So she has a really strong stance without any real martial training. She's a commoner.
Yeah. She's just sturdy.
Yeah, she's just sturdy. She kind of smiles gently and says, "Tell you what, for newcomers, free bread." She slides a little thing of bread into your soup
Oh.
and kind of, ushers you along.
Oh.
She motions towards an area where there's a sitting
Gotcha.
place for people.
But he's gonna thank her in Draconic as she scoots off.
Oh, as you do, she says, she says, "Thank you" in Draconic, but her accent is very thick. It's thicker than your accent, and it's, to you, it is not what you expected.
It's
Torin.
a bumpkin accent.
It's like, whoa, this accent. Just, because she kind of leans down and says, "I'm so sorry, my Draconic is less utilized than the common tongue. But I'm glad that you are so well traveled." She kind of motions, her eyes sort of wander a little bit, and she kind of catches you, and her eyes sort of widen.
Oh yeah, because he's blue.
And she kind of like puts her hand over to her mouth, thinking that she's gawking a little bit, and she's and she sort of serves you as well.
This isn't display soup, is it?
She sighs and smiles and looks over at the
cabbage guy.
She says, "I see you've met Dirk."
That's weird.
Yes, Dirk believes in producing wondrous produce for display only. He's a bit of a character, but once in a while he'll trick a noble into buying a display cabbage.
Oh, I'm sure it works great.
Kind of smiles, and she's like, "You know what? Free bread for the Muffin."
Yay!
Then you kind of step up, and she
I do kind of step up and be like, "Hi, sorry, this might be a rude question, but where are you from?"
she kind of puts the ladle back in, and there's not really a line behind you because
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I
Yeah,
don't know if
yeah.
it's like super busy
So
or not.
She sort of sinks it in. She kind of looks at you, almost with sort of like a weird like wonderment in her eyes. She says, "Oh, I was born here in Dragonsmeet. In fact, I'm part of the farm, the Drakshorn Farms. We specialize in vegetables, but I'm sorry if it's rude to you as well, but I don't see many blue scales around here."
Yeah, I've been getting that a lot.
Yes. Oh,
I didn't think it was that uncommon, but apparently, of course, nobody from my hometown travels.
Yeah.
So
yes. It would be unlikely
Maybe
considering the business that happened. In Drakmore, I'm not from Drakmore, but I know of the words that travel.
oh, yes, of course, the business in Dracmore. Store's just like,
She kind of looks at you, kind of gives you a little bit of a puzzled look, and then sort of inadvertently just sort of spits out, says, 16 years ago, you were banned from the city. The Blue Dragons were banned from the city.
Uh-oh.
right,
From Yenzamot, yes?
right. It's from Yensamat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were banned from travel from Drakmore. So, to see you out here must mean that the ways have changed in the old country. She kind of smiles.
Trying really hard not to blank out. Well, I don't know if they've changed for everyone. I know I was encouraged to travel, so must have changed at least a little.
Her eyes widen even further, and she kind of like sort of sinks down a little bit in that rough draconic. She says, "You mean you're a stowaway from Drakmore?"
No. I'm gonna respond to Draconic.
Oh.
No, it's just that I had and I just kind of do a little bit of spark in my hand. Like I'm the first person in my line to have magic in a long time, so they couldn't really teach me anything. So I'm here to learn more.
As you produce like the arcana in her hand, her eyes sort of widen more.
Oh, shit.
And she kind of She kind of looks around.
I'm not
little
keeping a
bit.
low profile.
Yeah. she looks around and says,
V's like
"You're
watching
very-"
this intently and eating her
Yeah,
soup.
yeah. It's really good. It's like a nice savory vegetable soup, very hearty and very creamy too. But she looks at you widely. She says, "Yes, that you should be careful showing your magic around other Dragonborn here. Some are not as forth-telling." She kind of, it's not the quite right word. It's just that sorcerer and like arcane bloods, they were exiled for reasons from the ancient city.
Kind of tucks his arms under, like underneath. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I will be
Put a cloak
more
on.
careful. Kind of pulls the hood of his coat up a bit,
She
like over the
She
horns.
says, "Oh no, you should be safe here. Just if you're in the city proper, just be mindful of that. There are agents of Drakmor in the region, shall we say?"
I think we knew that. Did
What?
we?
I did not know that. I don't
So
think.
V's just
Never mind, ignore Pahokee.
Yeah.
V's
Pahokee
just
goes back into the soup.
So maybe just leave them. Don't do the magic for a little while we're here at least.
No, that's what I got
says-
from that.
I can give you a little bit more information, but unfortunately I'm a little on the clock right now.
Oh yeah, no, I understand. I just I haven't had a chance to talk to a lot of other Dragonborns since leaving, so I just wanted to. What was your name, by the way?
Oh, Haven Drakshorn. She holds out a
Shake your
claw.
hand.
The handshake is not a common Dragonborn greeting, so you can tell that she's definitely been raised in dragon's meat.
Okay.
She's
Sorry,
yeah.
what was the name again?
Hayborn. Or Haven.
Haven. Like Haven, but with a B.
Haven.
Haven.
I'm,
She says,
I'm Torin. It was nice to meet you, at least.
Torin, lovely name.
And I've been speaking in Draconic.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
lovely
You-
name.
she has a hard time, speaking in Draconic. Her Draconic is really rough. Again, the accent is worse than yours. But you don't, to be fair, you do have an accent, but it's not as egregious as yours.
Yeah, I have an accent, but it's not atrocious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know to speak Dragonborn.
For
I'm
a
gonna sit
foreign
here going,
speaker, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Because I speak dragon. I speak draconic like a lizard.
Yeah.
Like I speak draconic with a lizard.
Yeah, with a little
folk
lizard list,
accent.
yeah.
Yeah, because I learned it from the lizard folk.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you have spotted a few Saurians around.
Okay,
A few of them.
but no Kalia.
You know that Kalia are good at hiding in crowds.
Yeah.
But you think you spotted one.
Okay.
You think you spotted one.
Okay, was it a Rakshasa or just another?
It was probably a normal one, because if it was a Rakshasa, I feel like you would have really noticed.
Yeah, you'd have been like, oh hell
Yeah.
no. Be like, Torin, I'm hiding behind you.
Okay.
She mentions to you, she says, my stall is only open until late supper, so I'm off at 10 o'clock. If you ever want to speak of dragons and those affairs.
Late supper.
I would
Late supper.
shakes their
would
head.
appreciate the chance to talk to a different Dragonborn. I haven't spoken to one
Oh,
since I
yes,
left home.
yes.
So
And to be frank, I don't see many blue scales around.
yeah. Again, I've been hearing that a lot.
Oh, and V's gonna
Seems
pipe
to
up.
make sense.
Meaning that there have been some.
Rarely, and she kind of looks around a little bit nervously. Make a persuasion check, actually.
Oh, okay.
Let's have you make a persuasion check really quick.
Is that a 1 or a 7? That's 7. Okay.
Okay.
I was like, is that a 1 or a 7? This
This
die, it's hard to tell. Okay, and persuasion.
is that what my goal is?
That
I feel
okay?
like
That
that's
is
not
a
accurate.
that was a 7, so that is a 13.
13? Okay. I'm gonna say that's enough, because so far she doesn't perceive you as a threat or anything.
Yeah.
Well, there's been one on occasion, and she kind of motions towards yours, like, and I don't
an
mean to
occasion.
distress you, but Lord Takaris, King of Blue Dragons, arrives in the city on occasion to hold council with the Lord of Dragonsmeet.
Oh.
Him and his cadre, a few other. She kind of like
Cadre,
motions.
do I know that word?
A cadre
Yeah.
is like an entourage. Is like
Yeah.
group.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
with,
Like his cabinet.
Though
That's what I
lately
thought. I
he's
just making sure.
Yeah.
lately he's been appearing with a less than savory group of people. Not to bear worry upon your lord.
Oh
She
no,
kinda-
I appreciate
she-
the.
You see that she tries to do like a weird, like, fanciful medieval bow, not knowing the customs of Drakmor. Like, she's like,
What? Just for my own. What is the typical greeting for
Oh,
for where I'm from?
Usually the greeting is kind of like just sort of a hand gesture. It's not really it's not like contact.
Okay.
Yeah, you kind of you think of like a Klingon style greeting, not Klingon,
Vulcan almost.
Vulcan style
salute.
greeting. Yeah, you usually hold up a claw. It's 2 fingers down. It's like this, like 2 fingers, the pointer finger's up and 2 fingers down. It's supposed to represent the dragon's claw,
Oh, okay.
but
So I'm
that's
gonna-
like your standard. Like
I'm gonna kind of
greeting.
stop her and go. You know where I'm from? We just do this.
Oh yes, grandfather showed me. She does it, but her fingers are a little bit weird.
She's not doing it right.
She's not quite doing it
Yeah,
right.
she's-
She doesn't understand that the 2 fingers need to be down. She just knows that the pointer finger and the middle finger are up. That's the only thing she knows.
And V's taking that over. She was like, that's neat. V's just gonna look down at her paw and just kind of
I wouldn't have known that. Okay, so I'm making a note of that in my mental bank.
what?
Just the greeting.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm like, I should know that.
I was gonna show you the greeting from before, but it never came in. You do know, because you're more of a traditionalist, that the royal greeting is the same thing, but you drag the 2 fingers down.
Oh,
So it's like this. It's like the royal greeting, but the casual greeting is just holding it up.
So the-
Hi.
hey.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, V's just kind of
Hey.
looking down and trying to do that with her paws.
kind of like
Yeah.
the difference between a formal salute and just a
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
that, and then the
So.
yeah.
And I forgot. Yeah. So there you go. She then kind of smiles brightly. Says, "Ooh, I don't meet a lot of dragonborn from the old country, so it's quite fascinating. And also you're traveling with a Kalia and a Fawn. That's interesting.
Yeah, fate just kind of threw us together, I think.
That's wonderful.
Happy
It's
accident.
wonderful. She kind of her bright smile kind of returns to her face. Kind of
I'll
nods and
switch
says,
back to common because I can tell that she's a little
Oh,
uncomfortable.
yeah,
under
she's
common.
a lot easier for her to speak in common.
Yeah.
She's more articulate in common
Yeah.
as well. Then she asks finally, "Where are you? May I ask, where are you all headed? What brings you to Dragonsmeet?"
We are looking for the what is it
There you
called?
are.
I wrote it down. Jesus, my notes are shit. We're looking for the thing.
This is the scholarly society of
The
wondrous
Scholarly Society
Yeah.
of that.
She kind of steps back. and
Scholarly
kinda-
Society of Wondrous Procurement.
Wondrous procurement.
She kind of chuckles a little bit, like she mostly keeps her posture pretty well, but then kind of like hears that, kind of lets out a little bit of a giggle. It says, "Marcus's crew."
Marcus.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we've
Past the road up to the far, right through the trees. It's gonna look like it leads nowhere, but then it winds into a small but shantily kept building. Marcus and his crew are up there.
Thank you. We had a vague idea where we were going,
Yeah.
but better directions help a lot.
He smiles and says, "Anytime. Well, except for at 2 a.m. That's when we close all the stalls."
2 a.m. Now that's the proper time for a late supper, but what do you guys do about dinner?
She points to the other stalls and
Okay.
then also
2 a.m. every
motions
night to
towards
eat.
like the rest of like Lowtown. Says there are plenty of food stalls around. It's just farmer's dirt is more of a breakfast until late brunch, late supper.
I guess.
She kind of chuckles.
Pohoki
Well.
grumbles and doesn't quite get it.
Well, I'll have to come back for soup when I'm not full. I tried a dwarven muffin, and
Oh yes, yes.
it's a full meal. That is.
Typically why people don't buy from them, unfortunately. It fills you right up and then you can't enjoy all the other snacks around.
Well, you
I
should
understand
share.
that now.
She kind of smiles and then
I did share.
You see a few people have kind of like started to come up behind you. The sound of coins being dropped into the little the cup. And she's
Well,
like, "Oh, sorry.
Hey Ben,
Back
yeah,
to work.
Thank you for talking to us. We will
A delight. Anytime."
probably be back at your stall eventually. Just kind of wave as
yeah.
You guys finish up your soup and it's very good. It's very cheap, so like it doesn't fill you all the way up, but it definitely leaves room for more.
Yeah, but it's nice warm soup with
yes,
bread.
nice and warm soup.
Pohoki
Yeah.
intends to eat many foods.
All right. Shall we go to this Society of Wonder blurb 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 blurb, guys?
You guys spot the kind of like the little trail that she mentions, and it initially hugs against the side of one of the walls of Dragonsmeet, and you see sort of like a little poster, sort of written in like several languages, but the common that you can read says the Scholarly Society. It has an arrow kind of pointed up towards the path. It's kind of just pinned in the wall, but the parchment looks like it's seen better days.
have little flyers instead of signs.
Yeah.
Seems
Um,
official to me.
I will say I'm now walking with my hood up.
Okay,
on,
yeah.
on my coat and kind of hands in the pockets. And I am definitely a little bit more subdued after that. Just
Yeah, just
Oh,
like,
it's so
not
fun.
like grumpy, just a little
Just
like
makes it.
quieter.
Yeah, you know.
Not running around and looking at everything now.
Yeah. Oh.
No, it's fine. I'm just like, I have shit to think about.
Now you're like, oh, what does all this mean? What is all this history? So, you guys find yourselves, after having finished it, wandering up towards the foothills path. And as it winds upward, it kind of ducks down into like a forested area, but with a rough hiking path. Until finally you emerge to a small clearing. And in front of you is, sure enough, seemingly where you were supposed to be.
Yeah!
It is-
We did it, guys!
A 3-story rundown building that seems to be in poor condition. Vines and moss have grown up, covering the faded blue paint of the side of the building. The 3rd story actually has a sort of a little a walkway, like an open air walkway that kind of runs the length of the building. But there's a giant gaping hole in the top where it looks like maybe a large stone or something fell on it. And basically it looks like a run-down manor out in the middle of the woods, about 15 minutes or so away from from the last market you were at.
yeah, this seems about right.
It's sort of dark and dank, but you spot sort of like 2 figures sort of standing outside of them. A purple tiefling man dressed in a very fanciful jacket from behind seems to be pointing upward as you spot like a sort of a Duragar at the gaping hole kind of on the inside. They seem to be yelling some stuff back and forth, but the man on the bottom just keeps pointing and like trying to convince the dwarf to move something that he seems unwilling to do so.
Okay.
Okay. Well, should we knock?
You guys, so
Or-
as you sorry, I forgot to mention that,
We're just kind of
yeah.
standing there.
Yeah. So the manor has the area has been kind of built outward. It looks like there was once a garden kind of in between, sort of a display garden to sort of
But
greet guests as you come up. But that's all kind of wilted and
It's-
rotted away.
Yeah.
And
just kind of no one's been taking care of
Yeah.
it.
there's
overgrown.
there's an empty dead fountain right before the actual estate building that is also dried and cracked in several places. And there's very little sign that much foot traffic has come through the area. And
Pahoki's gonna go knock. Going in.
as you approach, the sort of the tiefling's man eye sort of catches you.
Yep.
And
V's gonna raise a paw. Hello.
They're just out there. I can't even tell if they're doing anything. I'm gonna go knock.
before you can knock, hang on, I gotta find.
Uh-oh.
What is the entry? that I
You
wrote?
misplaced him.
I think I did. Oh wait, it's part of the main entry. That's why.
So many tabs.
I know, right? This is
All
the problem
the
is that
tabs.
everything is organized via tabs.
Oh, by the way, it is a quarter past 4 now.
Yeah. I
This
was
might
gonna.
be your last
I was actually gonna.
joke.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of
I think
wrap
we're
it up
gonna,
right here.
gonna
yeah.
intro to the thing. And
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Sorry, I just want to quickly bring it up. It should have been open already.
But yeah, let
Non-player
let's see it.
characters.
Molly?
I'm so sorry. Where the
Well,
fuck
that
is
is
he?
kind of how Mollymont was introduced, huh?
He is a purple tiefling in a very fancy coat.
And
Oh,
no,
yeah.
that was Caduceus that was in
he's
the
a
weird
lavender
dead,
tiefling.
Lavender is a shade of purple.
I know, I'm just giving you shit.
Caduceus was the one they found in a weird dead garden.
Caduceus is the one in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, he was the hermit in the middle of a graveyard.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, Molly was the one that was part of the circus.
That's right.
Yeah. Circus boy.
Circus boy, circus man.
so as you approach the front of the building, and you get about 20 feet in range, the dwarven fellow kind of points down towards the two of you, and the tiefling kind of looks for a second. Like you see his eyes kind of widen, a big smile kind of cracks on his face, and he turns around, kind of gets himself up. You see
This is Marcus.
he's like he's kind of gets his he seems to be readying himself. And kind of you hear him just inhale. He goes, spins around, and says, "Greetings, welcome.
I love him.
To the Scholarly Society of Wondrous Procurement. You're speaking to me. I'm Marcus, and I'm the leader of this guild.
I love him.
Marcus is a plump purple tiefling with a chipped horn and a rather long tail that splits into two at the tip. He's a savvy dresser and wears a marvelous red silk vest sewn with silver flame patterns that go upward. He wears a custom-tailored dark gray suit that features intricate golden trim on the left side only. kind of an asymmetrical look.
Okay.
And is known and has a lot of wondrous and beautiful jewelry just all over his fingers and kind of along his neckerchief. He
Sounds
and
like
one
fun.
yeah, kind of like Molly. I was like, oh dang it.
No, he
But
just sounds like fun. I said he sounds like fun. Not he sounds like Molly.
Yeah.
One ring that stands out among all of them
chippy.
is a giant golden band that is in the shape of a large cobra with a massive ruby clasped in its mouth. I'm sure whatever has brought you to me means that I am of service to you.
Who has the letter of introduction? Is it me or Torin? One of us is holding the letter of introduction.
Is it me? Crap.
Because
It's not me.
I know, because me and Torin are the ones that carry stuff.
Yeah.
I lose it.
Just wrote it down. I didn't say who had it, which means I probably have it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to.
I was like, Torin, the
I
letter.
know, right, yeah. I'm gonna dig into my pocket and pull out the letter and go, well, we actually come to you from, Ravensmead?
Ravencrest.
Ravencrest!
Raven's Crest.
Mayor
Lucro Windkeep.
Yes.
She was alumni during retirement 6 years
I'm
ago.
just doing this with the letter.
Married Rolg in the summer of... Oh, can't remember. Damn. He shoots at her. Volog, when did the two get married?
And V's gonna just quietly.
You hear Volog kind of mumble something. He says, I can't hear you up there. Damn, fellow. Can't hear a thing.
Yes, well, you're correct. That is who sent us here. Would she give us this?
He takes the letter and says, he looks at you and just rips up the letter, tosses it and says, I trust you with all of my life. Now tell me, what dangers bring you to Marcus?
This guy seems really trustworthy, you guys.
As
You
towards
should
this
tell him
I'm
everything.
pretty sure it was in the letter.
He says,
But, alright,
damn, that letter's been destroyed through mysterious means. Surely an assassin of some sort.
Here?
He kind of looks around and
actually
says,
laughing.
have you seen this assassin then?
I haven't.
Are you being pursued?
If the letter's been destroyed, it must be.
My word. Then safety's the only thing we can do. Come to the Scholarly Tap.
Come on, guys.
He marches up
What were we
towards
there
the door.
for initially
opens
anyway?
them
I don't
up.
remember.
The Echo Stone. Help with
Oh,
the
yes.
Echo Stone.
Oh, so as he's leading us, it's okay. We'll follow inside for
I
now.
think Torin's a little too busy being confused and also kind of laughing because it's just like, I don't. Okay.
He opens the door and points for you guys to come in.
Okay.
Immediately you see that several of the planks of wood inside are pretty rough. It looks like a run-down place, and as he opens the door, you hear glass cracking on the side of the windows. Says, worry not, the tavern looks like this because we've just moved in. But I have a wizard coming tomorrow. He owes me a favor, this wizard.
Alrighty then.
Gotta fix up the joint, make it a little more presentable. Because it looks pretty shabby, if you ask me.
It's just got character.
Character! Character! He points and shouts inside, says, Fam! It's got character!
Fam, it's got character.
He says, Fam!
Fam!
It's got character."
Damn.
You sort of hear
I thought he was
a
like,
strange
"Story, fam,
voice
just
kind of
got
purr back and says, Character!
And V's stepping over a broken floorboard going, perhaps a little too much character.
That's why the wizard's coming!
This house looks
He owes me a
like
favor!
every house I've been in, so very fancy.
As you step, he says, wait, we have to do this thing. He kind of closes the door behind you and says, please, stand in a line in front of the door. And as you guys step in, you notice that there's a table, a desk, sort of a reception desk to the left, where an elvish woman is sitting, kind of playing, she's trying to stack knives like you would a card on a table. She says, oh, character, hello. And then continues to kind of
And then continues her.
Stand in a quick line. Just really quick. This is how we're going to introduce ourselves. Pretend we haven't met. Kind of, he puts his hand over his face to kind of like close his eyes and turns around, steps forward, and says, kind of breathes in again, turns around and says, then he waits for a second. Says, wait, this isn't right. Ring the bell. He points to the counter, and you see that the elvish woman who's stacking knives. There's a little like call bell, like
Just gotta ding it.
ding, and the woman goes, "Oh, welcome to the Scholarly Tap, home of the Scholarly Society of Wondrous Procurement. It is I, Tham, your receptionist, welcoming you to the guild hall of." She kind of looks over to Marcus, who kind of like does this. He's nodding, like rotating his hand, and continues this. To introduce you to the guild. And then Marcus kind of turns around again, and then spins back and says, "Welcome to the Guild of Wondrous Procurement. I'm Marcus Varenberg, and I'm here to greet you to the Guild of to the Solar Society of Wondrous Procurement." He kind of freezes in his like action pose. He sort of whistles, and then Tham like rushes. Like Tham kind of looks at him, looks down at the bell, looks back at him, looks down at the bell, looks to you all, looks down at the bell, back to you, back to Marcus, down to the bell, sits back, puts her hand on her chin, looks to you, looks at the bell, looks at Marcus, and goes, "Of course!" And she slides over and poses with him and says, "The Guild Hall of the Scholarly Society of Wondrous Procurement!"
We
And
found
she,
the, we found the improv club.
He's just
Yeah.
gonna like.
he's Marcus holds up one finger.
Digital clap.
He kind of motions awkwardly towards Tham, who then goes, "Oh dear." She whistles and she says, "To the Scholarly Society of Wondrous Procurement," she calls out, and you hear thump, boom, 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 something like upstairs, like somebody running downstairs, and it's just, oh. You see the dwarf from earlier,
Hell of a boss,
who's kind of like panting as he comes down from a flight of stairs. He's, "Is everybody there?" Oh shit! He kind of goes, "Let me get Theon." Kind of goes downstairs to a basement floor. You hear yowling like a cat going like meow, meow. And you see, "Come on, Marcus asked us to do one damn thing." And you see a large.
We should understand cat. No,
Oh.
they're different animals.
They're speaking in common, but he's just sort of yowling. Like you see.
This is a person.
Yeah, and
I
suddenly
thought
you
it was
see
like a pet cat.
large Leonin man kind of getting pulled up by a muscular man who doesn't wear a shirt, who's very handsome. He kind of sits there very tall, wearing sort of striped pants.
Dragged up by a dwarf.
Oh, Theon, you hear the dwarf say, "Just wake up. Marcus asked us to do one thing when guests arrive. Come on." You see the man like slapping the large Theon character, or the Leonin.
Theon is the leader.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Theon the Leon. He's okay, and then the dwarf's like, "Okay, you remember, right? You remember." The Leonin kind of nods gently, and the dwarf kind of goes up to Marcus's left and then poses as well, shouting once again, "The Scholarly Society of Wondrous Procurement." And then the large Leonin kind of comes up behind Marcus, who stands about maybe a full head taller than Marcus, and he kind of flexes and says, "The Scholarly Society of Wondrous Procurement."
Hoki sees all this like, and then jumps in front, and we are adventurers. And Blizz just looking at you two.
I don't know, Torn
also
poses.
poses. Do you pose?
Yeah, she'll do like a sort of like Kalia dance pose or something. Like he's just
Marcus, you see Marcus's smile, like, he kind of has a little bit of a frown on him, but once everyone's posing, a big smile cracks across his face, revealing his, like, razor-sharp teeth, as well as gold fillings here and there. He goes, "We're gonna be the best of friends! Let me buy you around, and welcome once again to the Scholarly Society of Wondrous Procurement."
Well, I won't forget the name now.
And that's what we're gonna call it for now.
Oh my god, that's great. I love it. They're so cute. What is the dwarf's name? I'm just...
The dwarf is Volog. He's Volog Stillsoot.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have to have all their names. I just was like,
I want
I was
their
just
names
writing
again.
down real quick.
Alright. Yeah, I can give you a quick rundown. And I have this written down, so you guys need to ask. The Leonin is a Theon Soul Pride. And the elvish woman is Kaylin Tham.
Kaylin Tham.
Yeah.
But they call her Tham.
They just call her Tham. Yeah.
Kaylin Tham. Okay.
Okay, and
What was
sorry.
the
That's
other one?
fun.
The dwarf?
The dwarf is Volog Stillsoot.
Soot.
Soot. Big soot.
I wrote soot, but for some
And
reason
then
it makes me
Marcus
want to say
something.
Still suit.
Stillsoot.
Marcus Then
Marcus Varenberg.
Varenberg.
Varenberg. That's Marcus with two A's, a K, and an S.
2 R's, a K, and an S.
Okay.
Marcus.
Sure.
Okay, and this is the Scholarly Society.
Scholarly Society of Wondrous Procurement. And you are in their guild hall, the Scholarly Tap.
Awesome.
That's
V
what-
is immediately just like
That was
Catman.
Yeah, okay,
You know
so-
that he's very handsome.
Yeah, V's just immediately like.
Apparently, I need to not roll my dice before the game because I swear to God, I rolled like 4 natural 20s before we played, and then it was all like 2, 3, 10, 10, 10. And I was like, "Relax."
I draw mine at
Elbows.
random, and it seems to work okay for me.
Oh, well.
Here's the D20 that was in dice jail.
Dice
Dice Jail.
Thank you all so much for joining us. That's our game for this Sunday. Take care, everybody. We're hopefully going to be on a pseudo-normal schedule. I don't know.
Who
We're playing
knows?
whatever.
The world is on fire, and we're
Yeah.
doing the best we can.
And nobody's
We love
going
you as
home for the
well.
holidays, so
Yeah.
Love you all. Be safe.
Love you.
wash your damn hands and wear a mask.
Wash your
Yes.
hands.
Wash your damn hands.
Wash your damn
Let's
hands.
get that curve down.